Welcome to the next dimension in entertainment. Coming to you live from the offices of Chapter One Films in Charlotte, North Carolina, this is the 4D Podcast with your hosts, Greg Prince, Nathaniel Levinson, and Marco Brutus. Sit back and enjoy a deep dive into film. This is the 4D Podcast.
Greg.
We'll lose.
I'm not going to figure it out.
We'll lose. We'll do that together too.
Yeah. No, you lose on your own. I'm a winner, Greg.
That was the whole premise. It was the whole premise of why Iron Man was angry at Captain America. You said we'll lose. You said we'll do that together too. Well, we lost, Cap. So dramatic, and now the MCU. Look at it, in total shambles. It's in the hands
Can you turn me down like
of
a little bit,
Iron
Marco?
Heart.
Perfect. Yeah, there we go.
It is July 13th.
Why did I hear myself go? I know I'm too loud.
It is July 13th.
Is that right? Yep.
Episode 62.
60,000.
Episode 62.
You guys missed a lot of really short episodes.
Monday, July 13th. We're happy you're here joining us. A new thing, if you're in chat, ask any question about movies. Doesn't even have to be about movies. Ask a question, and we'll have to answer it live, and we'll have to just stop whatever we're doing and address the question.
Did we do that anyways?
Yeah, but also, like, it was kind of like
when you were
with
reading
us.
chat, you didn't see what was happening.
Please hit him with a horn. It's your only job, Marco.
Oh, boy, no, that's a good one.
Thank you, Marco.
I'm going to be producing next. Actually, no, we don't know if I'm producing next time.
We'll
but
see.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if we can work it out.
Man, Liam with the hot take already.
Oh, let's
Dude,
go.
let's
Hey,
go.
Hi, Liam. What's going on?
Liam with
What?
a hot
We got the
take.
face. You can't see it, but we got the face on the bulletin board.
Your
You're always
face
here.
does
You're here
exist.
there,
Yeah.
and you're here in our
in our
here.
new studio.
Yes, it does. Liam with a hot take. Obsession is my favorite movie of the
that tracks.
year so far.
That's not a hot take. That completely tracks for
Yeah.
me. That's that. Oh, that is exactly the movie. And to his credit, it's a well-made movie.
Yeah, I think
and I feel exactly the way I felt about, like, very similar. You felt about Oldboy, and he was like, "This is the best movie ever." And
I
was
will
like,
say,
yeah, nah,
I
not
will
for me.
say, there's also not a ton to choose from so far this year. So far
Wow.
this year, we have we have
a low
I think
bar.
Project Hail Mary,
Which
we
is
have
excellent.
Obsession, and Backrooms have gotten the most praise. Those are the big.
We haven't
three
watched
movies.
Backrooms yet,
And it just came out on streaming services. So,
so now we can watch it.
now we can watch it
at home.
legally.
At home.
We will be getting to Obsession today. If you're viewing, watching along, and you're planning on seeing it, and you haven't, we will give a disclaimer before we start digging into it, so that you're able to turn it off and not get anything spoiled. If you have seen it, stick around because we're going to be talking about Obsession. If you have other questions, throw them in the chat. We are
Yes.
quick to respond, and we will talk about whatever it is that you want us to talk about. We got a great show for you guys
By
today.
the way, Liam, we have. I guess our guest on the next podcast thinks that Oldboy is one of the greatest movies ever, so he's in your camp.
We have Jay Natali on next show.
Yes.
And we'll be
he's
talking
an
about
old boy. He's an old boy stan.
We were
so
talking about
it's
Speed
not just
Racer,
you.
and I have a feeling we're going to detract into Old Boy. We're just going to start talking.
I hope
about
not. I don't want to talk about that movie anymore. I said everything I needed to say about that movie.
it. I feel like it'll get referenced a few times here
Oh, for
with
sure.
Obsession. There's some we'll watch
Parallels.
some similar things. All right, so let's get to the news real quick before we get into our show. New trailers to come out in the last 2 weeks. Idiots. That's not just me talking to you guys. That is
Idiot.
the name of a trailer. It just looks like the next in the kind
Dumb
of
and Dumber.
okay. Who's the crowd? There's a name for like their group. It's like it's oh my gosh. Now I can't name a single person from it.
The guys who
Harry
did Super
Osborn from
Troopers?
Spider-Man.
Oh, what?
The guy played Harry Osborn from Spider-Man.
Franco?
Yes.
So like the
James
Franco, Rogan, those
Shit,
guys.
there
Do they
you
have
go.
They have a group name.
I don't know, but like they when they do a movie, it's like them. It's their
Sure.
group.
So
this
like
is,
the super bad gang.
yes. So this is
I don't
the
know,
younger Franco is like the main dude, but it seems like they've got different
He has
members of that.
brothers?
Yeah, the younger Franco.
I didn't
He's
know.
the one from 21 Jump Street.
Is he?
He's like the cool kid at school that's
Oh.
selling the stuff. Anyways, it
That movie
looks
is great.
It looks dumb. It looks like a comedy.
I'm kind of past R-rated comedies. I think they peaked in the early 2000s.
yeah.
And I honestly, like, there's only so much of crass humor I'm willing to take because the jokes are all the same jokes.
Well, and it doesn't
and
seem
it's
like
not. It's like it's funny the first time you see it, and the second time they make a big penis joke or a small penis joke or oh look you can see her tits or whatever. Like it's not funny the second time, and I don't think those movies have great rewatch. And I love comedies. I don't think those movies have great rewatch value.
I think one of the difficult parts about comedies now is that they don't have like the A-list comedy guys like they used to, where like Bill Murray was a huge name and he just did comedy for the longest time. And you had
well, the thing is, all the older comedy guys are trying to do the sequels to their original hits from the early 2000s, and they don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Because part of it is you can't write good comedy anymore because you can't push envelopes in the same way that you used to. Like sex stuff is nothing's taboo there, and it's not funny. I mean, it never really was that funny. But you can't make fun of people because you might be hurting someone's feelings. So the
so
jokes that they're
down.
allowed to tell, like Tropic Thunder, what a hysterical comedy.
Right.
Name a single joke from that movie that they would write today.
Yeah.
I can't think of many.
Yeah, I think I'm just out kind of on comedies
Yeah.
in general nowadays.
Or at least R-rated comedies. I think in the PG-13 PG space, where you can't just resort to crass humor and be like, and
You've
that's
actually
a
gotta
comedy.
create a
You gotta
story.
actually create a story,
The
and
story
do
itself
something.
has comedy with it.
I think there still could be. I think there's still an audience for comedy,
Yeah.
but right now I don't think Hollywood, and that's what I'm hoping the indie revolution will begin when they break out of horror, and I think comedy is a good place to go because you can do low budget comedy. Now I didn't enjoy Friends,
Right.
but that was a low budget comedy.
Friendship.
Like Friendship,
Friendship,
yeah. So it wasn't my kind of humor, and I wasn't
Right.
particularly a fan of that movie. But I mean, if you're a fan of Tim Robinson stuff, I can see how you would enjoy that.
I do think
If you
that's
have
the
no-
natural.
If your brain, you left your brain at the train station at an early age, I can see how you enjoy that.
I would love for these indie horror kind of creators to segue a little bit more into like the early Shyamalan era, where there might be horror elements, but it's more so like a suspense, like you're actually building a story and some more creativity there.
And the thing is, a lot of these YouTubers are very good at like skit comedy,
Yeah.
and I recognize like it is difficult to turn skit comedy into a full.
That's why it's
movie
skit comedy, yeah.
because
But
and
you can be
one of the
creative
reasons I
and
don't like
implement them in
SNL is because I think SNL doesn't know when to end the skit. I think Key and Peele is like right at the edge. I think Chappelle was like perfect, bang on
Chappelle
every
was
time,
goated.
just absolute perfection. This is the end of the skit. Boom, we're done with the joke. We're moving on to the next thing. And I think that takes confidence in your own comedy to be like, I've told the joke, we're moving on.
Well, then you got other comedians. Like one of my favorite comedians of all time is Norm Macdonald, and he
Oh, yeah, but-
pushed it to the degree
Okay,
that
Norm
it became the
Macdonald,
joke,
but-
and it's
But
so good.
That took, I agree, but that
Gregory
also took a
Olinovich.
very
I mean-
that also took a very special way of speaking. Kind of like the Leslie Nielsen effect, where he plays everything so absolutely so straight.
Yeah.
And Norm Macdonald would just keep you on the hook and keep you on the hook and keep you on the hook, and you're with the journey on him of like, where is this going? It's not that, oh, here's a bit and I gave you the punchline and now I'm just going to drag it out. He would make you wait and wait. It was almost it was the comedy version of edging.
Yeah.
He would just tease you and tease you and tease you and tease you, and then you
Get
can
in
come.
there, Nathaniel. Get in there.
Oh my gosh! All right, and on that note, Avatar: Aang, new trailer came out. This is an
Boo.
animated. It's an animated
Womp
one.
womp.
Doesn't matter.
An animated.
Again, we are past the
milk.
era where they already showed they can't write more of that.
Just
And-
milk
Because
the teat.
Avatar: The Last Airbender was preceded by Legends of Korra, which was not good.
It's fair.
Milk the teat,
Um,
ladies and gentlemen. Milk the teat.
Digger, which we talked about this last week, was just like a super small teaser trailer. They actually came out with a real trailer, so now we see what it is. And
What is it?
It's still kind of. I still don't really
Still
know.
nebulous?
Well,
It's
that's good though.
It's
I mean,
still,
yeah.
It's still Tom Cruise is the digger for this group of like powerful dudes, and it's a comedy. And apparently,
Is it like
they're
he digs
oil.
graves
No,
for
It's
people,
like
or-
it's for oil. Like,
oh,
and
oil,
so-
like drilling wells and things.
but he also is like walking around with a shovel. So like,
Okay.
they're for sure playing on that a little bit, and it's not really sure what's going on. They're facing some kind of crisis, and they're like, our
so
digger
it's,
will
it's the
get us out of
comedy
this.
version of There Will Be Blood.
There we go. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
We have The Mutiny, which is another Jason Statham
Yarr.
movie starring Jason Statham by Jason Statham.
Is it like Pirating Mutiny, or is it like
No, it's
it's like I'm the captain now mutiny?
I'm pretty sure it's just like
Jason Statham being Jason Statham.
A dude,
He's getting too old
leader
for this,
of a
man.
group, and they're just like, mutiny, you're out of here. And he's like, I gotta stay alive.
You know who I am? I'm Jason Statham. I will drive over your face.
You see that one skit where the guy's like, well, I don't really do impersonations, but or he's like, I don't do whatever. I don't do impressions, but I do impersonations. And he's like, I do this one of Jason Statham, and he's at a Target, and he just realizes that his car's been ticketed. And they're like, oh, okay, you can do that one. And he's like, and then he just starts talking. And he just goes, he's like, I do this one of Jason Statham. And then he's like, yeah, and I do some other ones too. And
Well, I like
They're
Jason
all-
Statham, but of
they're
course,
all
my favorite
waiting.
Jason Statham movie is the one where he's not actually doing any action, and that's Snatch.
that's true. It's the one where he's actually great. I mean, granted, he's a talented martial
Oh, yeah.
artist, so good.
But
good
his
for you,
movies
he
just
is-
end up like straying into being really goofy.
him and Liam Neeson just found a niche. Like they were bouncing around for a while, and then they were just like, they're like, you're only doing one thing forever.
I will say,
You're
I
gonna
think
do-
he's good in the Fast and Furious movies because it's like exactly his niche.
Yeah.
But it's not the whole story. Although again, it's Fast and Furious. Take that for what it is.
What do you mean by you
he-
like? the
I'm
Fast
pretty
and
sure he's the one where he's like, sometimes the thing about the street fight, a street always wins. That was the fight against Jason Statham.
I don't
wasn't
think
it?
that
Am
I
I
don't
crazy?
think Jason Statham said that though.
No. Dwayne The Rock Johnson said that while he was fighting Jason Statham, right? And then he smashes he crumbles the entire parking structure on him, and they're both fine.
First, it was Dom,
Dom.
it's not Dwayne the Rock Johnson. It's
oh no, it's Vin Diesel.
Vin
You're right.
Diesel,
But
there
yeah,
you go.
Vin Diesel says it to.
Yes,
it is when
he does
and,
say
and,
it
and
to
then
Hobbs
collapses.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
collapses the. I think he's Shaw.
He's Shaw,
He
there you
collapses
go.
the
parking
parking
garage.
deck on both of them, and they're both just like
They're both just fine.
walk away. They're not even like scratched up. They just walk away. The movie is
Specifically, the
fantastic.
ones that Jason Statham becomes like he's in are absolute lunacy.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
they're
but in a good
absolute
way.
Lunacy.
They are stupid popcorn flicks, but they're really fun to watch.
Watch them with a group of friends that all think that they're
Yeah.
like terrible movies, and you'll actually have some fun. You'll have some fun.
It's definitely not a movie that you're like, I'm gonna just sit back and watch a movie that I'm just gonna like enjoy. sitting
Never
around.
watch
Like,
those
don't do
movies
that.
alone. Go and watch
They're-
those
they're
with a
not meant-
bunch of
I don't- they're
friends
not-
and all laugh.
They're not meant to be watched alone. They're meant to be watched with family.
Family.
All right, move on.
We got Bad Apples, which is an Irish movie.
Oh,
From what I gathered, and from what I gathered from the trailer, it is a teacher who has this class, and she's really happy about them. They're like middle schoolers, and there's this one kid who's just like an absolute terror, and like one thing kind of leads to another, and she like kidnaps him and keeps him in her basement. But she's like nice to him, and like
So it's like Misery School Marm edition.
it's basically like she does that, and the whole school gets better because this kid was a terror, and but then she also is simultaneously starting to understand him more because she's like playing video games with him, and she's like, now that you're here and locked in my basement, I'll actually tutor you now. So I don't think it's supposed to be like slapstick, silly comedy, but it's supposed to be pretty comedy.
It is
From what I
definitely a
gathered.
goofy premise. If it could go like, if it's not a super dark movie,
It's not.
then it
doesn't-
has to be a
yes,
silly movie.
It does not
Like,
look
it
very
can't be-
dark, and it. Yes, she like kidnaps him. She's like, "What did I do?" And then like she has to deal with it. So there's that. It looks a
watch
little weird. Then there's Clara and the Sun, and this is
Animated?
No, this
Sounds
is
like it.
This is the girl that played Wednesday or whatever the
Okay, yeah.
the kind of like strange looking, spacey looking girl.
Wednesday Adams
yeah,
on
that-
Wednesday.
There you go, that one. She is a human companion robot. Like so, she's like a robot, and like you can buy them as kids buy them as like friends. So she's like a robotic friend, but she's an old model, and so like she gets bought by this girl who's about
So
her
it's
age.
Toy Story with AI.
I guess, and so she's like learning from her owner, and they're like, "Oh, you'd experience the world." It looked bad, honestly, from the trailer. I didn't even finish the trailer; it was so bad.
Woof.
Movies that came out. We have Young Washington, Moana live action,
Bleh.
Monsters and Minions, and Pressure came out. Did it really come out, Marco?
It did, and I plan on watching it probably in the next couple of days. It is one of those that I will actually purchase to watch. I think it's like $13 for
That's the
rent.
one-
And that's the one about
Oh,
D-Day.
Normandy.
No, that's the one where the terrorists take over that building, and they're like, if this building doesn't get washed in 24 hours, we're going to kill everyone. It's really the guy has to go over and.
Yeah, it's that one.
No.
It's Pressure Washer.
Oh, sorry, that's Pressure Washer.
It's Pressure Washer or Pressure
bad.
Washer 2.
No.
The
I
Benny.
get kind of confused. They have very similar plots.
Pressure Washer 2 is on a boat.
Cruise ship.
No, I do plan on watching this for a couple reasons. One, as you all know, I'm a big giant weather nerd, and that's 90% of it is about weather. So I'll be watching it, and you know, I'm a big fan of Ryan Fraser because
Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
Brendan Fraser. Sorry.
Meh.
Yes.
Yes.
But yes,
Like, who's
I'm
Ryan
excited.
Fraser?
I'm
Or
excited.
him?
I'm excited.
I'm a fan of him too. Right. Random news tomorrow, Con Air Day.
Yes.
give
Oh,
it-
is it? Let's go.
Yes, it is tomorrow. It is the most important day of the year, and we are all excited, and we cannot wait.
Yes, July
Are we watching?
14th is yes. Hell yeah.
Are we
Like,
watching?
when?
I don't
You
know.
didn't say anything.
Dude, I know. I haven't said anything. I just realized today that it
Oh,
is
well,
tomorrow.
that's-
so,
yeah.
but
I
yes,
don't know what
to
day
answer
it
your
is.
question, we have to
Well,
watch
yeah,
it
we
tomorrow.
have to watch it tomorrow.
Yes. So I don't know. At some point tomorrow, we will be breaking out the wife beaters. We'll be
Let's go.
breaking out
The wigs.
the Poe. What was his
Poe
last?
Bannon. Banner?
Poe something. Dameron.
No,
Damn.
that's Star Wars.
Oh dang! Terrible.
Dang it. Well, no,
Isn't
tomorrow.
Poe his last name?
It's Poe, right?
Yeah, isn't that his-
Cameron Poe?
Cameron Poe,
What?
yes.
Like Poe is his last name.
Cameron, very close.
That-
Poe
not-
Dameron and Cameron
not too
Poe.
bad.
Wow, Star
But,
Wars.
yes.
I wonder where you got it from.
Yes, Con Air Day is tomorrow. It's the most important day of the year.
True.
For everybody that is in the chat, yes, Con Air Day is the day that you watch Con Air.
Yes.
This
Dressed
is-
as Cameron Poe.
Yes,
Yes.
You have to dress
Get a
up.
wig,
It is
get a
required.
Wife beater, find your kids, find your wife.
Send in your photos.
I'm gonna
at-
invite friends.
at
Invite
40
friends
Podcast.
tomorrow.
Get a teddy bear.
I'm gonna invite friends.
All socials
Bring
at
a bunny.
40 Podcast.
I've got one.
Yeah,
We're gonna do the
Sorry, not a teddy
ceremonial.
bear, a bunny.
The ceremonial putting the bunny back in the box
Put
before
the
the movie
bunny
starts.
back
We do
in the
have the little
box.
snowballs. We don't eat them anymore because they are god awful.
Disgusting.
They are.
They're so bad.
I remember buying. So this is for those of you who don't know. This is like the thing. His daughter keeps sending him in jail, and so he gives them to friends. And it's like those little pink fluff balls that you get. Like,
So
and I'm like,
nasty.
oh, I've never in my life seen those or been wanting to have. But I should buy some to distribute for Con Air Day, and we'll just eat them. Thinking like they probably just taste like sugar. Those things
It's like vile
taste
fake
like
coconut.
nothing.
It's
Like they
nasty.
taste like nothing with like sugar and coconut.
But like
it's
bad
so
nothing.
bad.
It tastes like bad nothing.
It's
Like
disgusting.
nothing,
Dry.
like nothing turned bad.
Yeah, they're-
and then nothing went off. nothing rotted, and then you ate it.
like nothing was expired.
Yeah, it's like stale nothing.
It
Somehow.
is really bad. So we have a bunch of them that just don't get eaten, and I don't have a heart to throw them out because at least I'll like present them at Con
Yeah.
Air Day. So if you want to show
I
up,
mean, to be fair, they will literally never rot.
yeah,
It's
Because they've-
chemically impossible.
they,
Yeah.
they come
They're
rotten.
it's so gross.
Sam Neill passed away.
Yep.
R.I.P. Sam Neill or Neil. Is it Neil?
Wow. Now that's an inappropriate use of the horn. Now,
All right,
now
all
he
right.
finds the sound effects.
This guy throws down a terrible joke, and you don't do that, and then I'm like, dude, this guy dies, and it's just what? As opposed to what him living forever, he should have lived.
There was I gotta send it to you guys in honor of Sam Neill. There's a improv show called Make Some Noise, and Ben Schwartz, who plays John Ralphio on Parks and Rec, if you've seen that, his prompt is Jurassic Park theme song but with lyrics. And so it's like baby dinosaur, blood from mosquitoes. I'll send it to you guys. It's great.
Well, for those of you who don't know, he plays Dr.
Grant,
from Jurassic Park, the main character.
aka Alan.
Alan.
Man, we need that as a bit.
That is, I need to put that as a
Alan.
sound effect. Alan.
Alan.
Gotta get Alan back on the show. Me and Nathaniel watched a movie with Alan the other day. Great guy. Happy birthdays. We have Kim Jong,
Yeah.
57. He looks
57.
great.
Fun
7.
fact about him, he is like an actual medical doctor.
he-
He was at UNC Chapel Hill, and he was like, I'm bored with being a doctor, so he's just doing comedy clubs. And Seth Rogen just happened to be at one of his stand-ups, and was like, I want you in this movie.
It's so crazy because he's such a goofy comedian. Like
Oh
his
my gosh.
his form of comedy
Yeah.
is like all the way off the walls. Like
I went and
he's
saw him.
If you ever watched him in Community,
Yes.
that's just him being himself.
so funny
he
in
just-
Community.
He got that crazy manic energy. I love
the
it.
episode where he thinks he's like a detective and
Yeah,
he's just
oh
like,
my
so I
gosh,
grabbed the
it's so funny.
matchbox out of his pocket. He's like, but it didn't make sense. So I ordered 200 matchboxes. It's like, what's he doing?
He ends up burning down his
Yeah,
place. He's like, they got to me.
Yeah, like,
Somehow they found me.
He's so funny in that show.
Oh, man.
I actually saw him live at a stand-up down in Palm Beach County.
Really?
When I was living there. Yeah, me and my wife went down there and we watched him. It's good. It's good stuff. Fun stuff.
He's a funny guy. And I bet this will shock you. So Harrison Ford and Patrick Stewart, both born today. How old would you guess that either of those guys are?
94. They
no,
are so old.
They're both in their 80s. Or actually, I think Harrison Ford is like 77, and Patrick Stewart is like 84, 85.
Okay, so they're closer in age than I thought, actually. It was kind of
Interesting.
surprising.
Patrick Stewart has looked like he's 80 since he was 30. He's got he's got the Steve Martin thing. Where my dad was just watching Next Generation today, and Patrick Stewart looks almost just as old. His face is just less wrinkly and saggy. Like, he looks exactly the same. He hasn't aged. It's
So to
just
put
like Steve
To
Martin.
put it in perspective, Patrick Stewart is 2 years older than Harrison Ford. That's it. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
I
that's
want to say
bananas.
Patrick Stewart is like 84. I might be
So
overestimating.
Patrick Stewart is 86.
Okay,
And Harrison
so
Ford
Harrison
is
Ford's
84.
84. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, old dudes, man.
Yeah, they are old
Yeah.
dudes.
Old guys. We say happy birthday to the movie Ghost
With Patrick Swayze.
with Patrick Swayze. So for all of you out there that like to spin clay pots, and that'll never be the same again. That will never be the same again after that movie. After the old clay pot sex scene, and, it's just changed things. Legally Blonde.
Hey!
Legally Blonde. So I like Legally Blonde.
I'm
I
a
think
fan.
it's fun. I think it's a super
Yeah,
fun movie.
very fun
I will
movie.
say I actually think the musical is better, and that sounds really pretentious, but the musical is just really, really good.
Really?
I
Yes.
think
There's actually a show, like a prequel show of Legally Blonde that my wife is actually currently watching.
Oh, interesting.
Elle, I think is the name of it.
Oh, interesting.
And it's like a little show. It's interesting.
So
I don't know.
You can't actually watch the entire Broadway show for free because MTV put on a production of it. So you can't actually watch the whole thing. And it's basically the exact same plot, but Luke Wilson's character basically does nothing in the movie. He's actually a character in the musical.
Okay.
And
She's her love interest when she gets to
and
college.
It's very funny. I really do like the movie.
And the big boy, it is Inception's birthday today. Now the interesting part, guess how old those movies are turning today.
Inception was like 2009.
I
So
was going to
that's
say
15
close
years.
to. I was going to say closer
Inception
to 10,
just
20
turned,
years.
years?
Inception just turned 16.
16
Legally
years,
Blonde
geez.
just turned 25.
Oh yeah, Legally Blonde was.
Oh,
that's
that was an
old
older movie. Yeah.
And Ghost just turned 36.
That was 90 something. Yeah,
Jeez.
Yeah, wild.
Are we old or are we old?
that was
Woof.
90.
Jeepers.
It's sad. All right, so
Nathaniel, how old are you?
Guess.
Chat, how old do you think Nathaniel?
Nathaniel, you are
I will say this.
somewhere in the range of 25 and 55. I don't know.
You are in the range. You are in the range.
That is a
Nailed it.
solid
First
range.
try. First try. I
Nailed
will
it.
say I was checking out at Publix, and the lady was checking me out. Was like, "Do you want to apply the discount?" I'm like, what are you talking about? She taps the little senior citizen discount. I'm like, lady, I don't even have gray hair yet.
Woof.
What the heck? I'm 36.
36.
I was born in
okay.
90. It's
Okay.
really easy to guess my age. Born
Interesting.
in 90. So take the year and add 10.
So what have we been watching as a 4D cast? Marco, you gonna tell us about the chat, or are you gonna keep it to yourself? You can't be keeping it to yourself, man.
Well, someone just called everybody ancient.
Okay.
True.
Yeah, V the Vixen.
All right.
Really, really kind of
not
rude, to be
wrong.
honest.
I was
okay.
born last millennium.
Yeah,
You're not
I'm
wrong.
al-
I'm 1,000 years old.
Well, Marco is actually in between you and I. Isn't
yeah,
that right?
yeah. I was born
So
in
I'm
91.
the baby. I'm just a little guy.
Yep.
Just a little guy.
And you're still old, Grandpa.
We don't know about that.
Well,
Nobody can really say.
You know, at a certain age, Grandpa's Grandpa. It doesn't matter if you're 80 or 70 or 60. You're an old man.
yeah.
What have we been watching over the last couple weeks? Marco, start us off, man.
I watched Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3.
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
Gatsby.
It became more and more egregious to watch to the point where it was almost hilariously good.
Which, 2 or 3?
3
yes,
is a
3 is
clown
bananas.
show.
3 is bananas.
Yeah, 3 is just like so bad. It definitely.
3 is so bad that it's just like
It's so much fun to watch. It's
yeah.
just abysmal, man.
It really is, and it's just one of those movies where like
man.
everything that you could do wrong with a movie, they do it. There's so many plot holes. There's so many like, wait, what? There's just so many things happening in that movie. At one point, there are like 3.5 villains that are all like intertwined, and
movie
and you have no idea what's going on.
How'd that
Like
get in there?
No. How did that get in there?
How'd that get in there?
Now dig on this. Dude, that movie, I can't believe that movie was ever made, man.
There was
what a wild movie.
That one was bananas. Yeah. What else did I watch? Let's see. I watched Toy Story 1. Finished
Phenomenal.
that this weekend.
Phenomenal.
Really, really good. And I don't know if I watched this before or after the last.
Got to keep track of that, man. Otherwise, we have to kill you.
Listen, The Equalizer. Did I talk about it last episode?
Like the Denzel Washington original one?
Yeah, the original. The original. Yeah,
I like it.
I've watched 2 and 3, and
really?
they also progressively get worse and worse.
Oh, for sure.
But they don't get worse and worse to the point where they're good. They just get worse and
Is
worse.
the first one the Home Depot one?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the
that
best
one's
one.
really good.
That's
Oh,
the
for
best
sure.
one. It's so
I
good.
think the first one's the best, and then the third one is like so big and absurd that I still like it. I think the second one's still fun to watch.
Yeah, they all are good because his character is
Yes.
actually still good
Yes.
in all of them. Like his character is still an enjoyable.
I think two
It's
is
a
probably
steady.
better.
It is
two
a
the weaker
steady
one.
decline, though.
sure.
In my opinion, I think 2 is stronger than
yeah.
3.
Three
but
where he
it's
has
just
3 has like a harpoon gun. And
Yeah.
like
yeah, it's a
running
little.
around,
It
like-
gets a
think-
little.
I think it's one of those trilogies that suffers from DBZ syndrome, where it's like, we have to do something bigger.
You've gotta
we have
do
to do
better.
something bigger.
Yeah.
And this is like, okay, so did any of you guys watch Chuck?
No, I know it's
Nope.
like one of your favorites.
Oh, Chuck it's a great series. It's 5 seasons, and the thing they do in Chuck, which I think is a detriment, but it is hilarious. It's like the non-power scaling version of Dragon Ball Z, where Dragon Ball Z, for those of you who are not aware, Dragon Ball Z like they keep making everyone more powerful to the point that it doesn't mean anything. So it's like, oh, Super Saiyan 1 and 2 and 3, and you're like, okay, well, now you're keeping up with this guy. But then it's like, I can destroy a whole planet by looking at it. I can destroy a whole universe by blinking. And you're like, okay,
Yes.
well, now it's completely like, and Multiverse of Madness did this too, where when everything's so big, it becomes utterly meaningless.
Yes.
You have nothing to actually compare it to. So you're like, oh, well.
You could like beat up a random dude and be like, "That's just a
Yeah,
dude.
just a
a
dude."
universe died a second ago."
Yeah,
You're like,
so
I guess
you're
he's
like,
right.
because
Let him beat up the guy.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, nothing means anything. But so one thing that sometimes you see in continuity is either like it has to be like bigger than the previous one, or
That's what she said.
and this is why Empire Strikes Back is such a good series, because it's not necessarily like, in terms of stakes, it's not bigger than the first movie. The first movie stakes
Yeah.
are like the Death Star is blowing up planets.
Right.
That's kind of like the ultimate stakes. And then Empire Strikes Back is,
It gets really small.
oh crap, we
about the
gotta, yeah, it
characters,
gets really small in character focus. So there's a big contrast between those two sequels. Whereas I think Equalizer 1, 2, and 3 is like, he was in a Home Depot. Now it's on this little island. Now it's this entire city.
Yeah.
So, but Chuck, there's this bad guy, this bad evil organization called Fulcrum. At the end of the first season, you find out, oh, they're actually part of this bigger thing called the Ring. At the end of the Ring, that season, you find out, oh, the Ring is actually part of this bigger organization. Oh, in the fourth season, you find out that organization is actually controlled by this bigger guy. Oh, that was all orchestrated by this bigger guy. It's like, how many people were in charge of this whole thing?
How many are there?
And why would they not step in earlier when things are going terribly for them? Because they didn't exist. And it's just... And again, I like Chuck. I think it's a lot of it is very well written. But it is like how do we escalate? And you can't think of anything other than make it bigger. And that very much has diminishing returns.
Yeah. I think it'll slowly water down whatever it is you're watching. Is that all you watched, Marco?
Yeah, I think
That is all that I
Equalizer
watched.
is
And again,
definitely a
the
victim of
World Cup. I mean, I've been completely
not a
obsessed.
movie.
I know it's not a
Messi,
movie.
Messi, Messi, goal, 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 goal. Messi, 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 goal, 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 goal. Oh,
but
man, that-
but
There
yeah,
is-
that's
there is
pretty
some
much
very
it.
good acting though.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh.
god! I can't watch the World Cup because
Yeah,
it makes
it's
me
terrible,
so
dude.
pissed off
It's-
when these
yeah.
full-grown men
it's borderline
are acting like
unwatchable.
it's little babies. Oh, I can hit your arm. Like, you could literally destroy me in any athletic contest, and I'm still going to look down on you.
Yeah,
because you're so pathetic.
That's
you
the
are
thing with
so pathetic.
Yeah, that's the thing with soccer right now. It's like it's one of those sports that the character of a person hasn't caught up with the sport yet, because the sport like encourages it.
Yep.
Me and Greg had this conversation today where it's like in basketball, like like you flop but people still look down on you, so it's like
Yeah,
it's like
the culture of
discouraged a little
basketball
bit.
is like
But then in soccer, it's like everybody encourages it. So like
But-
the character
yeah.
portion of you being an athlete, it just hasn't caught up with the sport itself, and then you just look like a fucking moron, and it's not good.
It's so
just not good.
frustrating because the sport does encourage it. It is like
Yeah.
a huge
Right.
advantage to get that
Correct.
foul. And like in basketball, you're taught to pull the foul, but that looks like, oh, if someone's pushing you, just let them push you over.
Right.
yeah.
And then they don't make it. They're like,
Yeah,
call the foul, and then they get back up. And the soccer player's like, and like, my dog, you're not even like scraped. You're so pathetic. And then when they're actually injured, you can tell because there's like shock, and they're like,
Yeah, when
Oh
they're
my gosh,
actually
I can't
injured,
move.
they're like laying there, holding their leg, looking to the sideline, like, "Oh my gosh, what do I like?" Somebody come over
But
here.
then also,
the best was, and this is like the curse in when Holland just like shove that guy over. And like, yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow, he just knocked that dude over. They're not going to call a foul. I'm not sure how much I like about the looking back in time, be like, oh, 3 minutes ago there was a foul. Like, well, if the ref didn't see it, that's stupid. If it's one thing, it's like, well, our goal is under review.
Or like if it's out of bounds or not, like we'll look at the line.
Something like that.
Yep.
But if it's like
to go
the play
back and call a
hadn't even
foul,
started
so
to go back
bad.
and foul. So I honestly think that like the refs did Norway super dirty in that
Yes.
game.
Oh my goodness.
Refs have just been awful.
But-
the whole
Yeah.
way.
But,
I think partially the reason.
What I do like about the VAR is when they look and they're like, yeah, that wasn't a foul. But especially like the one England guy literally is right next to the and just like hooks his leg over and goes
Oh,
down.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, he fouled. I'm like, dude, what are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I think a lot of the issue with the refs being bad. Don't get me wrong, the refs were bad during this World Cup. But I think a lot of the reason why they've been bad is because they rely so heavily on VAR that they don't call anything, knowing that they're just going to go back and find a call to call just because it's one of those.
They probably need to adjust those rules to say like if you think it's going to like completely influence the way the game goes. Like of that particular play. So like the corner kick, I would still say, well, that was before the play. You missed it before the play. Sorry, the play hadn't started yet.
Sure.
So once the play starts, then you can look like when you're doing the goal review, saying, oh, there actually was a foul during that play that would change the outcome.
Yep.
But that foul was before the play. And the fact that they pulled it back was, I thought, like
Stupid. Yes.
I thought
right,
England
we need to
clearly paid the
stop
refs
talking about the World
more
Cup.
than Norway did.
My bad.
Anyways,
Marco.
that's what you've been watching.
My bad. That's what I've been watching.
That's fair. All right, go ahead,
That's it.
Nathaniel.
I watched Obsession and I watched Magnum Force.
Come on, dude. Do better.
Dude, I don't
And
know
the
what
World
you want
Cup,
me to tell
apparently.
you. And so, yeah, and I was in
you
the World
watched
Cup.
one other movie.
Did we? What did we watch?
And you said I was bad for not knowing if it,
I can't remember what we watched. Speed. Oh, that's right. We watched Speed Racer, but we're not going to talk about that.
It's true. We're going to talk about Speed Racer next episode with Jay Natali.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I've been watching Who's Line, so it's still funny.
I watched
It is really
Magnum
funny.
Force, Obsession, and Speed Racer, but I also watched Toy Story 3.
I'll say what I've been watching is I've been watching Game Changer and Make Some Noise on Dropout.
Okay.
So Game Changer is they do like a game show, but every single time they do it, the rules are different, and the contestants have to figure the rules out as they play. The funniest one I was watching was one called Standards and Practices, where they had 3 lawyers judging them, and they had to try to be super offensive for TV, but not so offensive that the lawyers were like, yeah, you can't say that, and then it would send them back to the start. It was really, really funny. But watching that and then Make Some Noises, they're just like improv where they give people improv prompts, which some of those are absolutely hysterical. That's what I watched.
I watched the same 3 movies: Obsession, Speed Racer, Magnum Force. Obsession is going to be
which is
something
not
we
clear
talk.
from saying that, but that's the second Dirty Harry movie.
Obsession. I'm going to get into that. Obsession is what we're going to talk about today. Magnum Force, like Nathaniel said, it's the second of the Dirty Harry movies. So far, this one got a little sillier.
Yeah.
The ending was just a little weird.
Well, the way the ending fight resolved was like, that's what you're going with? But I still enjoyed it.
They both just like fall off of motorcycles, but the bad guy falls like 20 feet into
water.
and
then he's just dead.
dead.
He's just gone
Not like he drowned. Like
He's just, like, floating up, like,
he's floating. Like he slid off of this whatever they were on, not that far down into water, into like a lake.
into deep water.
Yeah, like a lake, and he's just floating there dead.
Well, San
He's-
Francisco's probably the ocean.
and he's like, he said something catchy. He's just like, well,
Hit him with
I
one
guess
line.
that's the end of that or something. But fun movies.
I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna work my way through the Toy Stories, and then maybe not next show because
Did
we're
you watch
doing
4 and
Speed
5?
Racer. I'm gonna do 4 and 5 for whenever.
Yeah,
as
I've
a
got
following
I've
segment.
got a couple. I'm gonna try to watch more movies.
Yeah, I mean
I just
we've got
think-
time because we're gonna be doing Speed Racer next week, and then after that,
Well, one of the things is I've been having trouble because of my back. I just haven't been spending a lot of time in front of my computer.
it's probably a better thing.
So,
just for
Sure,
health.
And I'm a
health.
huge fan of watching movies on my phone. So
All right, so we have a great show for you guys. The primary
all of
segment.
that wasn't the great show, but now we got a great show for you guys.
Technically, it's not. That's just us working our way through the news
It's a
and what
warm
we've
up.
seen.
It's a warm up.
We're going to be talking a lot about Obsession today. So, for those of you who have not seen it and wish to see it, spoilers ahead. For those of you who have seen it, this is the part of the show you're waiting for. We're going to talk about Obsession.
I will say, you can predict what's going to happen.
Yeah,
It's not a
that was one of my critiques is that I think okay, so let's get into so Obsession. It came out.
spoiler warning.
Spoiler
warning.
This movie came out very recently. It was an independent film made by a YouTuber. It's a horror flick. It is one of the biggest buzzed about movies of the year so far. We mentioned it earlier with Backrooms and Hail Mary as kind of being the early runners for movie of the year. This is it follows a boy, a teen.
It's going to be Liam's movie of the year until The Odyssey comes out.
Liam, I feel like Liam's bailing on the Odyssey. He's jumping off the ship. So this movie follows a early 20 college age.
It's unclear.
Right
It
before they
seems
go to
like-
college, right? Because they're looking at letters.
So it seems like they are old enough to drink at bars, so they're 21.
Okay.
But it seems like they're
Very
kind of high school grads who are just kind of living in a small town,
Working locally.
Yeah.
There's a small little friend group, a guy, his girlfriend, another guy, and another girl. And
No, there's technically they just 2 guys and 2 girls hang out.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 guys, 2 girls, they all hang out.
Sounds kinky.
And
Not like that. Well-
one boy really likes one of the girls there.
I'm struggling with the character names. I remember. Okay, so the main character's name is they keep calling him Bear
Bear.
because his name is Baron.
Yep. Okay, so
The one girl's name is Sarah. That's not
Sarah-
that's
Sarah's the
not
friend that likes
friend
Bear.
That likes Bear.
and then there's
Though I can't
Bear's
remember the friend's
buddy,
name. I can't
who
remember his
he's
name.
the director of the whole
Yes,
movie.
but I
yeah.
can't remember his character name.
Um,
and then I can't remember the girl's name.
it's
Why don't I look this up?
oh man. He calls the guy on the phone and then he's like, "Hey, do you want to talk to what's her name?"
Yeah, I can't remember.
Okay,
I'm looking it up.
we're gonna get the main.
Guys, we're professionals. We're really good at this.
I just took for granted the fact that I pretty much assumed I would.
Well, to be fair, they're like generic. Other than Bear, they're pretty generic names. Bear, Nikki is
Nikki
the
is the
girl.
girl.
Then the friend's name is Ian.
All
And
right,
then Megan Lawless plays Sarah.
okay, so
And I was right. It was Andy Richter from
Okay.
that is Andy Richter from Conan O'Brien.
So the main 4 characters: Nikki, Bear, Sarah, and then
And Ian.
Ian.
Yeah.
They're all friends now.
They
Bear,
all work at
like this record store.
yeah.
It's
So
something
it's this
about
record
music?
store, and I couldn't tell if it was Ian's dad or if it was Sarah's dad. And Ian
Pretty
and
sure it's
Sarah
Sarah's dad.
might be related. That was unclear to me as well.
So they all work there. Bear is kind of your main character. Really likes Nikki. Nikki is just like totally has him in the friend zone. So they're good buddies. And Bear's like, "Oh man, I'm trying to build up the courage to ask her." He ends up buying this like little weird thing. Makes a wish on it that she would love him more than anything in the world, and it kind of like laughs when he does it. Doesn't really think it's gonna be real, and it's real, and it has like horrible consequences.
Yeah.
She's just like a total mess. She's horrifying. She's scary. She loses her mind and is obsessed with him in every way. And it gets really creepy and like worse and worse and worse. And she starts like bubbling over to the point where she's killing people and harming herself and just really weird. He's noticing it. He has opportunities to turn back. He doesn't until it's like super, super late. Now he's trying to figure out what to do. He's told via the box instructions and via the number that he called that if you kill yourself, it breaks the curse. So he's puzzling, he's toying with that. And maybe the big twist ending, if you want to call it a twist ending, because it only lasts for like 3 seconds, but like the big twist ending is that she gets a hold of one of those things at the very, very end. I'm talking like the last minute and a half of the movie. And as he's taking pills to kill himself, she breaks her thing and wishes that he would fall in love with her. And so he stops and he gets hard eyes for her and he walks out. Now they're both psychotically in love with each other for 45 seconds and then he
dies.
convulses and dies. And then the curse is broken and now she's left there having to experience all the things that she was forced to do while under the control of this thing and in front of his dead body. And like the dead
And
bodies.
presumably going to go to jail because
Oh.
I don't think that I was possessed by a demon is going to hold up in court.
Right. Yeah. Like her whole life is over. She's
you never
killed
know.
people. She's hurt herself.
Pleading insanity.
Just like,
Right. I mean, there have been
And
people
you'll
like,
still get put in a place,
incompetent,
but-
incompetent to stand trial. Like, okay, well, you still need to put them in some things where they can't hurt other people.
Right. You're still going to be put away somewhere. It's just a matter of whether you're going to.
A
Citizen
padded cell
Vigilante is going to go and kill her.
a jail cell or a padded cell.
Right,
Yeah.
it's just a
Citizen
matter-
Vigilante is going to get
He's
her.
going to sit on the couch and be like, "You said."
Only if she
it
converts to
was
Islam.
possessed." Wow. It's true though. It's the
I'm
movie.
not lying.
The
We
movie-
watched the movie. That is what happens in the movie.
Anyways, so that's the premise of the movie. It is a horror movie, and yeah, Nathaniel, give me some of your thoughts on it. This is
Well, I will say, to credit for the horror movie, I found it very disturbing.
Wow.
And again, not disturbing because I found it surprising or even all like the violence is all that shocking. Like there's it's funny because there's like a handful of moments where this is a horror movie thing where it like slowly builds, you know, something's about to happen, and then boom, like crazy violence out of nowhere. It was very obvious when those moments were going to happen, and there's only a few of them.
Yeah.
To the credit of the movie, but it was very obvious when those moments of crazy violence were about to break out. But it just the whole premise is just super icky.
Yeah,
And again, that's the point.
Yep.
So, you know, I think the movie succeeds as a horror film because most horror films are like really schlocky. But I find psychological horror to generally just be, or supernatural horror it frustrates me in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
This one I was like, you know what? It worked, I guess, but it was just unpleasant to watch.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat of like, this is not my type of movie by any means. I don't mind things with creepy elements. It's not like I dislike it because I can't do scary or anything like that. I actually really enjoy suspenseful or creepy elements to be put into movies. Some of my favorite movies are all time teeter on that line of being like The Sixth Sense and Signs, where a lot of people will be like, that's kind of too creepy for me to watch. But I'm like, it's really not about the creepiness. The story is what the movie's about. Whereas the more authentically horror movies, where it's like the element, like this whole entire movie is just meant to be dark. It's just meant to get more and more bleak and end in the bleakness, and make you feel like the whole aim is to make you feel a certain way rather than to. Those just aren't my movies.
Yeah.
And I think if I was to get more critical,
and to completely spoil it, it is like a everyone dies in the end ending, which was pretty predictable that was going to happen because there's only two ways that movie could end. Either he breaks the curse, which either he has the noble ending where he kills himself. Right. Sorry, he unalives himself. YouTube. He goes back to the store. He returns himself to the store. I'm coming up with all sorts of euphemisms. He returns himself to the store.
Chop suey.
She flushed herself. Suicide.
She went to the loo by herself.
She went by herself. Anyways, it could only end with that happening and her being free of the curse, like him finding the courage, or him not doing that, which is what happened, and everyone dies functionally. Yeah. So the ending was, again, fairly obvious, and they went for the worst possible ending. Although, again, I'm going to save the major issue I had with how they got to that ending. Yeah. For my segment, but I'll bring that back up. It has to do with the friend, because they basically like have a chance to go down a different route, and the friend completely blows it, but he does it in a way that frustrated me. But what I find the most frustrating about this is Bear's character. I'm like, dude, grow a pair.
I think
it's and you know, I think he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be this super frustrating soy boy character who like can't do anything correctly. Like he has no courage, he has no chutzpah, he just refuses to do anything. And I think that's the point. Yeah, is like he is, and he ends up in, and it's called obsession, and he uses the term like one time, like she's obsessed with me. Yeah. But as I thought about it, I think. And I think this is supposed to be the takeaway. You know, you have to ask the director for how it's actually supposed to be taken. Sure. But I think the obsession is his, and he's the antagonist. Yeah. Because Nikki, like her, obviously she's doing all
she's
the
a character
weird
for about
things.
13 seconds.
She's doing all the weird demonic things, but she's not actually in control. Yeah. And he has so many opportunities to make things right, and he just refuses over and over again. And there are a few like really, really telling moments. One is the fact that when he calls the hotline, and it's like, well, I want to reverse this curse or reverse the wish. And then like, you can't do that. I mean, you could die, and then it goes away.
Well, that's not even how he started.
And,
he started. Like, he goes, hey, can I like alter it? He's like, do you want to reverse it? He's like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
like,
he already has a chance to take it away.
Yeah. So and then the guy on the line is like, do you want to talk to her? And you can hear her screaming, and he just hangs up. It's like, okay, well, surely you need to pursue that, and he never calls that line back.
Right. Yeah, I think that if that part of the movie, the part where he makes the phone call, and the guy, the guy sounds just like super casual, and it is pretty sinister when he's like, do you want to talk to her? And you can hear her screaming in the background, like the real Nikki, who's like effectively like the one is possessing her body. But you know, I did think that was that was like, oh, that's kind of a creative way to do
no,
this.
I thought it was really good.
It was very.
But just it's telling you about his character, that he's so obsessed with the idea of being with Nikki that he's willing to let her go through these horrible things, and like there is some tension of not wanting these bad things to happen, but at the same time, because there's a moment where she's like, "Hey, please just kill me."
Yeah.
And he says, "Is being with me so bad?" And she's like, I was never with you." And then he walks away.
Yeah.
And then at the end, right, he realizes, oh, the only way I can fix this, because he told me, the only way I can fix this is if I mail myself to hell, right? And so he gets the gun, and he's like, blah, 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 and then he won't do it.
Yeah.
And then he takes a bunch of sleeping pills, and then he's about to try to throw them up. So even in that moment, he's still so pathetic that he's not even willing to give up his life for this woman that he claims he loves, but he doesn't actually love her. He's just obsessed with her. So that's why I think the obsession is his obsession.
Yeah.
Because he says he loves her, but he's not willing to actually sacrifice anything for her.
Yeah. And if I were to give...
And the first time they have sex is after he realizes she's possessed.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, well, at least the camera shows.
Yes. But from my understanding, that is
it is like the big moment. So what I would say are things that I didn't really like. On top of the fact that this isn't my kind of movie, I typically don't like movies that don't have any kind of resolution or character growth of any kind. Like, it's just kind of dark to be dark. I also, I didn't think there was a whole lot to root for, and I'll get into that. Like as you're watching, there's not like...
There was exactly one thing to root for, and he constantly frustrates you.
You find out very quickly that you're like, oh, this movie can't end well. Like either he has to kill himself, so he'll be dead, tragic.
He has to.
Sorry, he has to unalive himself, tragic, and then girl will come out of her trance and be scarred forever and not be able to communicate with anybody that she was possessed, and then now the kid's dead. Or he kills her, or just waits till she does what she does in the movie, which is just go apeshit and kill a bunch of people. So, like, as you're watching, you're like, there's not really a good resolution. I think the movie could have done better if there was disaster starting to happen and they found some way to resolve it. Would be interesting. But it just kind of happened exactly how I thought it was happening. So I thought very early there wasn't really anything to root for.
And I will say there was like one way to resolve it, but then that is just taken out of his hands. It would have been more interesting if he had to make a choice and he chose to not resolve it.
Well, I guess, and we'll get into this when you talk about Buddy's motivation, his friend, because there was a hatched plan that could have potentially changed some things. But the other things I didn't like, it suffers from scary movie idiots of just being like people being dumb in scary movies, like specifically him. Like, you get the signs that she's crazy. Like, so for instance, as this movie is just taking off, and obviously we know it's a scary movie, and we mentioned we're watching it, like, oh, he doesn't hear the scary movie music. Like, so he doesn't know that this movie, this moment is actually creepier than it is. It's like the first night, and she's like, he falls asleep and wakes up, and she's not next to him, and he looks around, and he's like, Nikki? And she's like in the corner, and she's like, what? And she's just staring at him. She's like, I like to watch you sleep. And she's just like hopping around, like with like a vase of flowers in front of her face, like, and like just acting super weird. And like, we're all freaked out watching, and he's definitely weirded out, but he eventually goes back to sleep. And I'm like, dude, he just doesn't hear the scary music. However, things do escalate to the point of like insanity. And he is still kind of like, man, I wonder how we're going to do this. I guess we'll just go to sleep. And I'm like, that's the scary movie idiots that you have to kind of implement into scary movies in order for the plot to exist. Because in reality, there ain't no way. There, like, she really early on, she digs up his dead cat that he buried, chops it up into pieces, and puts it into his lunch and feeds it to him. And he doesn't realize, and he takes a bite, and then he starts puking. And it's just chopped up, dead old cat. And he still then goes home to her, and he's like, hey,
you can't do that.
Let's work on the cat thing. And I'm like, all right, dog. No, you wouldn't even go home at that point. Nobody in their right mind would go home to this person who just dug up your dead animal, chopped it up, and put it into your food, and then like took a whole bunch of pictures of you and put them in your lunch, and was like, oh my gosh, I'm just sitting here thinking about it. Like, you would instantly like, okay, a big mistake has been made, and whatever, we've got to go back. So I did think that there was a little bit of, and there was a few characters whose motivations skewed a little bit. Nathaniel will get into one that he didn't really like, and we'll talk about that. But you're going to get that in scary movies. You just have to have people, like, he's sitting next to Sarah, and we were both like, yep,
that's
Nikki's
why Alien is such a good horror movie, because everyone's making smart decisions from their perspective.
Well, you can do it very well. I don't think it has to be there. I think it's typically there in scary movies,
and a little
I think
easier to
this
write.
was not the exception. This was not the exception. You had people being dumb in horror movies, and I was like, okay, well, they're there. And also, teenagers just get a little cringy. I don't know if they're teenagers, but they acted.
They definitely act like CW.
They're
drama
just
teenagers.
they're just doing the things that that the teenagers do. They're at parties and drinking and just they're playing drunk Jenga, where you have to take a Jenga piece out and do something, and they're like, kiss the person next to you. Oh, go sit down next to so and so. And I'm just like, I don't know. That part's just always that's just always hard for me to watch. I don't find teenagers interesting.
Nope.
I find them
'Cause
the
they're
least
not.
interesting people.
Sorry.
Little kids, like younger kids. I feel like the early stages of Stranger Things, that can be fun because they have such big imaginations, and they're so they're not succumbing to any kind of insecurities yet, and so they're just whatever I think I'm gonna say. They're very creative and they're super fun. And then they get into teenager time where they just try to be cool, and it's all that phase is the worst. I'm I never want to see.
It's because the childhood innocence and imagination that still is fun to watch.
Yes.
The ancient teen drama that we all went through, we're over that. We're adults now. We don't need to relive that. I'm happy to relive. I'm happy to relive the childhood innocence and imagination.
Yes.
That stuff's great. There's nothing wrong with having a spark of that. But I'm not going back to being an angsty teen. Not that I was that angsty teen, but every teen is some level of angst.
Right.
And of course, all the other teenagers around you are super angsty and teen drama. I get it, hormones, but we were fortunate enough to have the maturity to grow out of that.
And the last thing I'll say for things that I didn't really like too much about it was that there wasn't pretty much any part of the movie that really wowed me. For me to look at that movie and be like, everybody was talking about. And there wasn't that moment for me. I kind of assumed there would be. I think in a lot of horror movies you find this, and even I, and not being a big fan of horror movies, I find those things interesting, or those moments pretty shocking. There's a movie called The Invisible Man that came out 4 years ago.
Is that the one with the suit and the mirror thing?
Yes, he's got a suit that's got a bunch of cameras on it. He's effectively just an invisible guy, and he's he's stalking his
He was
ex.
the invisible patriarchy
And
the whole time.
He's gaslighting her, and it's getting really wild, and you're trying to figure out if she is being honest or not. And there's this really big moment where she's having dinner with her sister, and she's like, listen, it's been getting crazy. I need to tell you all these things. And then it's just going back and forth. It's very calm. You didn't see it out of anywhere. And all of a sudden there's just a knife hovering next to the sister, and one of the times it cuts back and it just goes, and then it flies into the girl's hands. And then the sister's neck was cut, and then the knife is now just in the main character's hand. And everybody in the restaurant is screaming, and she falls, and she's looking around. I'm like, that was a shocking moment. It was, in my opinion, in a horror movie, that was a very well put together scene. It caught me off guard. It made me think, how is she going to get out of this? Granted, I think not that was a great movie. I liked that movie better because there was she beats the bad guy at the end, even though it's a horror movie with killings.
Well,
all these
and
things.
there's a tradition of the final girl. That you usually horror movies have one of two endings. You either have the final girl survives and makes it to the sequel,
right,
or everybody dies. And this was an everybody dies movie.
Right. And but I didn't even feel like there was any one of those moments. I guess when he makes the call to the guy and he says, "Do you want to talk to her?" I found that to be a twist I didn't think of. I'm like, oh, that's an element of sinisterism that I didn't think that you could accomplish.
Sinisterism. Yeah.
It was very dark and kind of ominous, and it was like, oh, who's this?
I think it was a relatively paint by numbers horror movie.
Yeah.
But I think for what it was well done, and it was very well acted.
Yes, and we can't talk about the good things. I thought the original story was I think people are right to praise it for being an original idea. I haven't really seen a whole lot that was like that. It took some creative liberties in how the obsession was displayed, and then at the very, very end, I did think that was a little creative piece at the end to have it end the way it did, to where you go, oh, she broke her wish stick and chose for him to fall in love with her, and then you're like, wait, so now are they going to be both super happy and bliss now, in total bliss? And then you don't find out because he took a bunch
of sleeping pills and they kicked in.
Yeah, he kicked the bucket right before. So there was that little bit of creativity at the end. So overall, as a story, I'm like, okay, I think I can give it its bones and say that's creative. I thought visually with what it did with the budget, which is saying, hey, we pretty much just have to have a whole bunch of still shots. There's no dynamic, crane shot or big moving, gimbal on a car shot or anything. That it's all very chalk as far as just like they're just set up shots back and forth, but it does well with those shots. I think
I thought it did a good job, even though it has a lot of static shots. I thought it did a good job with the lighting.
Yes,
keeping her in shadow when she's being demonic and not, nice touch.
And acting was very good, like you mentioned.
Especially her switching was really good.
Very talented. I think that was a standout. The boy was just a simp the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, he played it well.
I guess he did play it well. It's always so cringy, but like you're right, he played it well. The friend Ian is the director, so he's talented to write something like this. Good for him. He does comedy shorts on YouTube. They are fairly funny. Some of them make me laugh. He did fine as a character. Those are mainly the
I mean, it's mainly him and mainly Bear and Nikki, and then Ian and Sarah both have minor roles.
But the two of them, for having to carry the whole movie, I think they did a good job. And if I was to go, the last thing I would say for the good categories, I think you probably can. I guess, like, I don't think the movie's giving you a negative theme. If anything, there can be some positive themes pulled from this. Like obsession in either direction is just an unhealthy thing. Like it's just going to lead to, like, if you're the kid and you have this thought of like, oh, I would, because basically you're introduced and he's like, man, my life is kind of falling apart. I would only be happy if this thing would happen. And I can't get over the hump. Oh, I would be happy if this happened. And then he wishes for it. And then by the end, all he's wishing is that life would go back. He's like, oh my gosh, all of life is destroyed. All my friends are dead. The girl that I actually liked
my friends are dead.
Is the girl that I like is broken, and I'm probably gonna have to die, and she might have to die. Who knows? And so he's like, I just took for granted everything I had. And I don't think that's a bad lesson to say. Hey, don't just sit in a world where you're constantly just fantasizing about what you could have, because I think we can all get stuck in that, where we're sitting there going, oh man, if only I had this, if I could get over that, then I'd be happy. And you spend all this time kind of unhappy, and then you look back at this time going, man, I wish I would have been a little more like content with what I had in those moments. It's a surface level theme because the whole movie is very much about the obsession portion. But then obviously the other side of being just head over heels obsessed, like showing you what it looks like to love anything. And I guess from a Christian perspective, you could take that, elevating anything to be loved the most is always going to result in
well, and also, but it's what kind of love is this? Because we say love, and that can mean a lot of different things. And in this case, and this is probably me reading too much into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think about it, he wishes that she would love him the way he loves her, and the way he loves her is as an object of obsession, as an idol, not as an actual because actual true love, as we might call it, is self-sacrificial, and his love is not like that at all.
Right. Yeah, and I mean his specific request was that she would love me more than anything else in the world, and so she drops everything. And it's definitely a little bit of those, what did you call it, monkey's paw?
Yeah, monkey's paw.
Where it's very much like, oh, well, this is what you said exactly, so you'll get exactly that. And so I mean, it's, I guess the idea is that the devil or whoever is granting these wishes is very much twisting, oh, you said everything in the world. Okay, she's not gonna think it's necessary to go to the bathroom. She's just gonna stand there and pee on herself. She's not gonna think it's necessary to like eat or whatever. She's just going to be extremely jealous to the point where she just kills people that look at you the wrong way. She's going to bash herself up, with a bottle if she ever feels unattractive, to you. She's losing her mind. And I think it's a super surface level theme of being like, don't be like that. Like, hey, don't do that.
And don't do that.
At the very least, it wasn't offensive, where you see so many movies where you're like, I don't even agree with the message. Like the message itself is like a negatively good message. Don't listen to that. This was at the very least like, okay, well, that's fine.
You know,
you can
we
pull
have a
some
word for
surface level.
negatively good.
Bad.
We
should make a movie about that.
Yeah.
We should make
Someone should come up with a word for that.
Someone should come up with a word for that. So those are what I categorize the good as those things. Original idea, well acted. It did well with the budget that it had as far as like the shots.
I mean, it made gangbusters. So
yeah, great, good for it. And I think that it's interesting. I mean, you can pull a few interesting themes from it. And then in the bad side, I would put that there's nothing really that blows my socks off. Like there was nothing that elevated this to like a wow, I can see why people lost their minds over it and loved it so much, in my opinion. The type of movie it is and the teenage-ness of it all weren't my favorites. That might be more personal. But I also thought that the scary movie idiots and the thought that so quickly in the movie you don't have anything to root for. You're like, this can't end well. And so at this point, what am I waiting for? Like if you had held their interest on a little bit more, if you could have added an element of like some way to get out of this. Even if you were the type of movie like this one is to not want to get out of it, I think if you added that in, it would have been more interesting because people would have been like, oh, we're so close. We can get out. You know, we can, all he needs to do is to get to this thing and the problem solved. But they shut that down so quickly. Like so quickly, you're like, oh, this is like, there's no recovering from this. Like she's going to be twisted forever. Like even if she snapped out, we have now realized that she is seeing everything and having to live through it. So it's not like she's going to wake up and he's going to go, thank God that was over. She's going to snap back into existence and no longer want a relationship with him at all. Have to be like, oh yeah, I remember the part where I was chopping up your dead cat and feeding it to you and eating it myself. So like she's instantly like, there's no recovering. And so I think when you introduce that too early, the movie becomes a little less interesting to watch. So I'd say that's in the bad category. But overall, my thoughts are, if I was judging it as my personal preference, very low. It's not the type of movie that I would watch. I would put it very low on my personal rankings. Out of 10, it would be.
I would put it at a Liam out of 10.
It would be in like the 3 range, in like the 3.5 range, just because I know there are movies that exist that I hate that I also don't think have any bones. Like I also don't think it did a good job. Whereas this one, at the very least, I think did a good job with what it had. If I was to try to be objective and take myself out of it, I would say it probably like 6.5-ish range, maybe. I don't think it's groundbreaking. Like people are like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like it. And I'm like,
really?
True.
You haven't?
It's true. Like the story was
I don't
pretty
even
unique.
watch horror movies, and
the
I've seen
story was
stuff like
pretty
that.
unique, but like other than that, like
I guess to me it was pretty standard Monkey's Paw. It was well acted, but the actual idea is really not that novel.
Yeah.
At least as far as I can tell.
I thought that it was just even if I'm forcing myself into shoes of liking that kind of movie, that was just okay. Maybe, and like it was unique, but yeah, those are my thoughts on Obsession.
Yeah, I just it is as the kids say, it gave me the ick. I just know. I'm just watching like this is just disturbing in a way that's unpleasant. And you know, if a horror movie's meant to do that, great. I'm not going to watch it again. I'm gonna after we're done talking about it, I'm gonna devote no time to it at all. It is going to leave my brain as soon as we're done with this podcast. It's gonna leave my brain. I'm never gonna talk about it again because there's nothing I want to reminisce about it. There's nothing I want to talk about it. It just it has there's no reason for me to think more about it.
It's fair.
So we haven't played this game in a while. I wanted to throw it out there because it's just something that we haven't done in a while. Let's guess the Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Oh yeah.
So since you guys have seen this, I have not, obviously, since I was quiet for the last however long you guys were talking. But I do have the Rotten Tomatoes scores pulled up, and
let's start with audience because this movie has been getting rave reviews and made so much money. I have to imagine the audience score is in the 90s.
It's got to be like
90. So just a quick understanding for the audience here. What we're doing is we're going into Rotten Tomatoes, and there are 2 categories, one for the critics and one for the audience. The critics, the definition is the percentage of approved Tomato Meter critics who have given this movie a positive review. So basically,
if 80% of people give it 60%, it is considered 80% fresh.
Yeah,
correct.
It is
correct.
a little odd.
So we'll start, and then the audience definition is the percentage of users who made a verified ticket purchase rating this 3.5 stars or higher. So somebody who has seen it,
the percentage of people who have rated it a 7 out of 10 or like a 70 or higher.
And sorry for the glitch.
It's a really weird scoring system, and it
really
doesn't actually tell you. It doesn't, because if everyone agrees, yeah, this is a 6, then it would be 100% fresh.
Correct.
And that doesn't mean anything. So
Correct.
Tomatoes meters, like it's a
little
thing.
skewed. It's a little bit weird. That's why I wanted to explain it to the audience. But
it's definitely a little inside baseball. Like,
correct.
What are we actually measuring here?
So you said you wanted to start with the audience score.
And
so
I think it has to be in the 90s.
It's got to be. Let's call it a 94.
95.
Yeah,
94, 95.
94. Not bad. Not bad. Not a bad guess. Not a bad guess at all. 94. Nicely done. For the critics, though, what would your take would be on that?
Critics, I think it could go 2 ways. Either they're like, oh, it's an indie darling, or they could be Hollywood snobs and be like, oh, this YouTuber thinks he can come into our space.
I
would guess it's high.
I bet you're still in the 90s. 91.
Same. 90, 91, 94. So same and same.
Same. Okay,
yeah. So I'm not a horror flick guy. I'm not a suspense flick guy. I with that type of score though, makes me kind of want to see it. Maybe I'll go back and watch it. But
Does,
Yeah.
As
does
far as
Jen
horror
like scary
movies, I
movies?
guess it's
No.
well done. But yeah,
No, she doesn't.
Again, we've told you like in our
Is that
discussion,
fair?
you have the literally the entirety of the movie.
That's fair.
So if any of that appealed to you, go watch it. And
Yeah.
if you're like, yeah, don't watch it.
I
Because you're
think
not
at
getting
this-
anything else out
Yeah,
of it.
I think at this point the only reason why I would watch it is for the cinematic side of it. But I don't know if I
like-
really. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Who
It's
knows?
up to you.
All right, Marco.
Neither of us recommend it. So
It's your segment, my friend.
Oh, it's mine now.
It is
Ooh.
yours.
Well, on the theme of questions, I have decided that instead of a segment for myself, I'm just going to lob some generic questions. We'll go for a few minutes, see if anything sticks, if anything, perks up a conversation, and we'll go from there. So the first one, what is your favorite animated flick?
Mulan. We were actually talking about our top, talking about top 10, top 5, top 10 movies. I thought about it, I was like, well, if I had to pick one thing representing Disney, it's going to be Mulan. And
But Mulan's not an animated movie.
You return yourself to the store right now.
Wow.
Just,
How dare you stand where he stood?
just bad.
So
I think Mulan might be.
It's
It's
just-
I guess as well.
Now,
Mulan.
and I like a lot of animated movies, but
Yeah.
Mulan for me just not only is like a really well made story, but also one that moves me emotionally every time. So for me, that's my number
and
one.
the music's
Okay.
a banger.
Yeah, and the
music's
music is a banger.
Absolute banger.
And runners up would be Lion King, Aladdin, Zootopia, mostly Disney, but Puss in Boots: Last Wish I think is up there. That was really good.
After watching Toy Story, I would give the Toy Story 1 and 2, and maybe you could include 3 in
If I
there.
have to pick
but,
one
like,
Pixar movie, I'm going with The Incredibles, but I do love Toy Story 1 and 2.
That's very cool. Incredibles was awesome.
Incredibles is
Finding
incredible.
Nemo is also one of my
I like
all-time
Finding Nemo as
favorites.
well.
That's probably higher on my list than I think most.
Man, Pixar just absolutely crushed it. Had like a 10 or 15 year period where they were just putting out bang after bang. Like they had Toy Story
Dominate.
2, Incredibles,
Yes.
Monsters Inc.,
Cars.
Finding Nemo, Cars. Cars is like the dip. I like
Bro,
Cars.
Cars is phenomenal.
Look, I like Cars, but to compare it to Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc., it's not the same level.
Cars is great. I don't know what you're
like
talking
Cars. I think it's a
incredible.
fun movie, but I don't think it's the same level of storytelling as the other ones.
about. I don't know.
Kerchow.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I am
I'll
Speed.
sit on. I'll sit on.
Okay.
I'll sit on Mulan as mine
Yeah,
as well.
I got a tie on in my brain. I like Lion King and I like Tarzan. I think Tarzan
Oh man,
is
original Tarzan.
original
the thing
Tarzan is incredible. The soundtrack alone,
Yes,
it just
true.
is such a banger of a
yeah,
soundtrack.
I think that is largely carried by because I do like the movie as the movie, but I think the soundtrack just outclasses the movie. I think the movie is really good. I wouldn't put it at S tier. I would put like A tier.
It is funny though that like that was we did like a huge ranking all the animated Disneys because we did the live action remakes. That was one that didn't make it because it didn't have a live action remake that
Yeah.
we reviewed, and so we kept being like, oh, if Tarzan was here, I wonder what that would. So that is true that you bring that up. It's very close for me. It's up there. It is.
I really do like Tarzan, but again, Tarzan doesn't move me emotionally the way Mulan
yeah,
does.
that's true. That's fair.
Although it
fair.
does have a phenomenal. I mean, I listen to the Tarzan soundtrack is on my regular playlist. So
yeah,
Phil
no,
Collins
it's incredible. It's
He's
such
a
a good
wizard,
soundtrack. My next question, we'll do one more question because that was pretty good.
Well, if it was bad, you just keep making us do it until we get a good one. That's
Well, no,
fair.
I'm just trying to go by the length
Wrong.
of time it
Do it
takes.
again.
He's going fishing.
I am fishing for lengthy and good questions that will spark interesting conversations. Which brings me to my next one. Growing up, who was your celebrity crush for
I don't know that I had one.
movies, actresses, so on? It could be shows too.
Yeah,
Because
I'm thinking.
I mean, I always thought that Angelina Jolie was like the most beautiful woman ever.
you're not incorrect.
Are we
her
talking
in
live action or
Transformers-
animated?
You talking
Hey,
about
dude,
animated Tomb
honestly-
I'll be
Raider?
dead honest here.
Animated Tomb Raider. I never even played the animated
I
Tomb
think
Raider.
Kim Possible.
Kim Possible. Oh, animated characters.
Animated
oh,
characters?
too true. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, I guess.
Kim Possible. The midriff was always showing.
Yeah,
Spicy.
spicy,
Ooh.
very hot.
I'm gonna pick
I don't
a
know
live
that I-
action because I'm not weird. Kelly Kapowski from
loser.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I think
Kelly
so. I'm
Kapowski.
Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I'm struggling to think of a live action.
Hilary Duff.
No.
Lizzie McGuire.
Hillary
No.
Duff is.
I did watch
Beautiful
Lizzie
man.
McGuire. I did watch Lizzie McGuire. You know what? It might have been Lindsay Lohan in The Parent Trap when I was really young.
That I was on.
I can
was
go
on
along
board
with
for
that.
I was on board with that as
Yep.
well. I thought that Lindsay Lohan was very
Yep.
pretty when I was that age. Good.
Any
Well done.
others?
No, I don't know.
I can ask another question.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Give me another
All right,
question.
give another one.
All right, we'll do another one. We'll do
Again,
another
I
one that
can't-
could
I
potentially
prefer-
spark some controversy.
All right.
Can you separate the art from the artist? Meaning, do you dislike an actor or actress as a person, but can respect the fact
I have
that they
absolutely no problem doing that. One of the problems nowadays is that the artists have problems separating themselves from their art.
That is a
Mark Ruffalo
fair
springs
statement.
to mind. I
Yes.
have no problem with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in most of the stuff he does. Mark Ruffalo is just a horrible human being. Mark Hamill is an absolute moron. I love him in the original Star Wars. He is my Luke Skywalker, and that will never change. Nothing he ever does will ever make me dislike Star Wars. So I have literally no problem separating. If I saw Hitler's painting and I thought it was a good painting, I'd be like, that's a good painting. You can put me on the
interesting.
record saying that.
interesting.
I don't have any problem doing that because I think the vast majority of celebrities are probably people that I wouldn't like anyways.
Yeah, I think
think-
most people who are artists are probably in the camp of someone
think
say that's not a good person.
Most
Right.
everybody in Hollywood is so detached from reality,
Yes.
like of what life is really like. I think they're closer, and it's funny because I just watched The Hunger Games. They're closer to like the people that live
In Pan Am?
in
Yep.
Pan Am.
Yep.
They're just like they're so like you see them going to these galas with what they're wearing, and you know they got to be like, well, it's just what people wear, here at this time. It's like no.
You look like a moron.
Do you realize where you've gotten? Yeah, at some point you were a kid and you probably were doing things and hoping that you'd be at whatever you. But did you think you'd be here dressed in like a meat suit or whatever it is that you're in?
Lady Gaga.
and it's like I think that everybody that I would meet in Hollywood, I'd be so disappointed and just kind of like get the ick from, and I'd just be like, ugh.
Yeah.
So
Army Hammer can eat as many people as he wants. He was great in The Man from Uncle.
a bit
You
of
can
a
quote me on that.
there you go. So a bit of an enhanced version of that same question. Is there an actor or actress who you refuse to watch due to their personality in person, their in real life persona?
No, so there are.
There's only one movie I refuse to watch. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
Wait,
I have one.
Did we talk about that one?
I do have one. And it's
I've talked about it before.
No, yes. Yeah. I know exactly. And yeah, it's because she's communist. 100%.
That's fair.
It might be blue, but no, we know she's pure red. I'm dropping hints right here. So I would say there are things that I have stopped watching on because I'm like, and it's really like not movies because movies are such occasional things,
Okay.
but like TV shows will lose me.
Sure.
Usually because the message in the TV show, but really it's more like YouTube or things I'm reading online where it's like it's not necessarily a fictional thing, but it's the person behind it, and I'm like, you're just such a Yahoo that I just can't anymore. So, there's a comic on like a web comic that I really really enjoyed, and the person who wrote it, she was like one of this whole anti-Trump rant where she was like, if your fascism is real and it's here, and if you supported that, don't read my comics. I was like, whatever. And then she did another one where she does the 24-hour comics where she's like, wake up, oh, he's still alive. I'm like, you're a horrible person. I'm sorry, I just can't read your comic.
Yeah.
Like so when it comes to that, that becomes much more difficult to separate the art from the artist when they're like in my face telling me like, hey, I hate you and what you believe in.
If you're talking specifically about actors,
yeah, and then like YouTube,
Right.
there are a lot of people that I watch who are just like,
Right, that's
flaming
it's
liberals, and at some
slightly
point I'm like,
different.
ugh.
Yeah,
But I will never like support them.
Right. I guess the question is more so that if it is not in your face in whatever movie or show that they are in, and they are just a bad person,
Like that
you
doesn't
disagree.
That
for
doesn't
that.
bother me.
There is one for me that does that, and I actually really enjoy his movies. His stand up is really really good. I guess stand up is whatever. Jack Black. I won't watch anything from him ever since he was encouraging people to go and not miss the next time Trump was.
Yeah.
It's
But
that
the
kind of
thing
stuff
is,
that I'm just like I'm
nothing-
not. There's a
nothing Jack-
line.
yeah.
There's a line, and I'm not going to cross it. And you're not going to get it. He has one of the best songs ever to be written ever. Wonder
best song
Boy
in the world.
No,
Oh, okay.
Wonder Boy, and it is incredible. It was one of my top songs on Spotify for like 3 years in a row. And the moment that he said the things that he said, it became the last played item on my Spotify. It is.
That's totally fair.
I'm not. There's a line, and I'm not crossing it.
Yeah, and I think there are moments like that where it's like when when they are actively saying, "Hey, you person, I hate your guts and I hope you die."
Right.
It definitely becomes more difficult. But I find that for the most part I can. But it does sour my view of their. I think it does tend to sour my view of their performance, especially for someone like Jack Black who plays Jack Black in everything he's in.
Yes.
So it's not like he's a character actor. It's just, especially nowadays, it's literally just him. Like, well, I don't like Jack Black, so this isn't doing it for me.
Right. I think that he's a great actor.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, again, to your point, he plays the same character in every movie. But like School of Rock.
School of Rock classic.
It's such a good movie. Yeah. It's such a good movie, but I will never
Andy Serkis is a
watch it again.
communist, But I
It's
love
just-
his work.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just in the camp of like, I bet you if you talk to a lot of the actors in Hollywood, you'd be like, you guys are so dumb. you guys are all dumb and you're all saying horrible things. And so for me, I'm just like, I'm just not going to care or listen to any of the things you say, and I'll watch your stuff. And yes, there's the idea of you supporting, and I think I'm fine with it. Like, that's the cool part about capitalism. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
You don't have to do any of this.
Clean your room. You don't have to.
Is that why
you don't have to do any of
Is
this.
that why you're running away? Jordan Peterson is the Red Skull.
Deep cut there.
There you go. So that's my segment. I've got more questions. If ever we need to fill fill a gap or something like that, we can always go back to it.
Do you have a?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
to piggyback on the obsession, so there's a moment where he has the potential to basically he knows he can't break the wish,
Right.
So he goes back to the store, gets another One Wish Willow, and tries to use it, and finds out that he can't use it. So like everyone gets one wish.
One wish, yeah.
So he goes over to Ian's house, and Ian is like, "Dude," and he's freaking out. Is this post Sarah getting murdered?
No. So Ian at this point is just like, hey, things have been so weird.
Yeah, things have been so
Everybody's
weird.
Trying to get
This
in contact
relationship
with
is
you.
clearly toxic.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
And you'd find out that he had been hooking up with Nikki,
Right.
and so he's like, "Listen, dude, is this about that? Like, and you've been acting this way, like." So he's a little frustrated, and
Yes.
the things have been very weird, but he doesn't know anything yet.
Yes, but did he go to this house post Sarah getting murdered or?
No, he's not know Sarah's. Oh,
No, yeah, because it's
Little-
post Sarah getting murdered. He goes and gets the other.
Bear knows that Sarah's been murdered.
No. Like, yeah. So, but like this
Bear
whole
knows, Ian
right.
does not.
No, I know Ian doesn't, but that whole scene takes place after Sarah gets murdered.
Correct. He's
Okay,
covered
yeah.
in blood when he shows up at Ian's.
Right. So he shows up to his best friend's house. Right, as far as we can tell, he is basically his only male friend.
Nikki is supposed to be his best friend.
Sure, but his only male friend, his
Yes.
best male friend, and he's very close. Like the very opening scene is Ian like coaching Bear through confessing to Nikki.
Yes.
Right? So Bear comes into Ian's house, is covered in blood, absolutely like shaking, and is saying, "Hey, you need to listen to me. This is going to sound crazy, but you need to listen to me." And Ian just completely blows him off. And he's like, "I need you to take this wand, and I need you to wish that I never made a wish." And he's like, "Okay, you need to say it very specifically." And Ian takes it and is like rolling his eyes, like, "I don't believe you." And he's like, "Okay, whatever. You just need to listen to me." And he just snaps and says, "I wish I had $1 billion." And that moment to me only happens because they're trying to get the darkest possible ending. Because in my mind, at least in my mind, if my best friend were to come to me in that same situation, it doesn't matter how angry I am with that person comes to me and says, "I just need you to do this for me." Then I'm going to say, "Look, I don't believe this is happening. I think you're full of it, but sure, what do you need me to do? As long as it's not illegal, right? I just need you to snap this thing and say this." "Okay, whatever, man. Say it, snap it. Now can you leave me alone?" And you're like, "I need to get some help. Let me take you to the hospital," right? So that character decision, out of everything in the movie, felt very out of pocket for what little we knew about Ian. Now, maybe I'm overreading it because I'm like, well, that's not what friends should do. So maybe I'm reading too much into it, or putting too much of what I think I would do in that situation into it. But again, to me, that snap decision where you're just like, "I'm gonna try $1 billion," just felt very odd if it didn't have to happen for the terrible ending to happen.
Right.
And so I want to talk about, when do character choices not make sense? And it's to me, it's, and I joke about, oh, well, they read, so there's a scene in Robin Hood Men in Tights where they're doing an archery tournament and Robin misses his shot, or something happens and he's like, "Wait, I lost? I'm not supposed to lose." So he pulls out a script and he's flipping through it and he's like, "I get another shot." And everyone's like, he gets another shot, and everyone else pulls out their scripts. They're flipping through it like, he gets another shot. That's what it feels like a lot of times when these characters are making decisions, like the plot needs to go from A to B. And the only way the writer could figure out how to get that to happen is either to have some sort of Deus Ex Machina just come in and push everyone there,
Right.
or to have a character make a decision that's so dumb or so odd for them that it only makes sense if that character knew, well, we have to get to point B and we're not getting there, so I'm going to do this thing to make sure that we get there. And that sprung to mind. And so I think of Arcane Season 2, where that's like every character moment. Once you watch the whole season, you see what they were building up to. You're like, none of these character decisions make any sense of what we know. And that was what was crazy about that was Arcane Season 1 did such a good job where every single decision that every character made was in line with their character, what they thought was happening, what they understood, what they wanted to do, what they needed to do. That all lined up. Now, that doesn't mean they were all making correct decisions.
Right.
A lot of times they were doing the wrong thing, but you understood why they were doing that. One of the reasons Silco is such a good villain is you have perfect understanding of why he's doing what he's doing, but you understand like he's doing the wrong thing. He's going about it the wrong way, but you understand why he's doing it, and you do feel sympathetic for him. He's such a good character. Then Season 2 rolls around, and I think they didn't get some of the writers, like original writers, back, and you can tell because suddenly there's a lot of flashy stuff going on. It's still a beautifully animated show.
Yeah, it really is.
Just phenomenally animated show. But then you have these weird things like, oh, the shippers were saying, oh, Vi and Kate need to hook up because they're clearly lesbians, even though in one, like you could have gone either way, that they were just becoming close friends or that they were like legitimately lesbians. Like you could have gone either way on that one. But in two, it's very obvious, like, no, they want them to be lesbian lovers. And so there's this one moment in the season where Jinx is like just escaped from prison and all they need to do is find her. And they go to the jail cell where she just escaped from, and they just have sex. And it's like this really long sex scene, music video thing. And you're like, this has nothing to do with anything. This only happened because they looked at the script and said, well, we're getting shipped, so we need to fuck right now. Like,
some people are into it.
Yes, but they looked at the script and said, well, there's a lot of people that are going to be into this, so we need to do this, even though it makes no sense for our characters right now.
Well, it sounds like that was also maybe a product of what some movies and shows do, where they listen to the audience a little too much, and they say, oh, like in Star Wars, like, oh, everybody's been saying, Rey and Ben, Rey and
Finn,
Ben,
Rey and Ben, yeah,
Ben Solo,
Reylo.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Reylo, it's got to happen. So randomly, they're just like, yeah, and then the third sequel movie, they're just gonna kiss. You're like, where?
But it was the kiss of death. She killed him with the kiss.
No,
women, am I right?
But to
thank you, Marco.
Oh, it's so awful.
I'll give you another one.
Still not funny.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny, Gay.
Well, to reply to that, yes, I think that it's typically more offensive and more in your face in sequels. And to be honest, I think this happens in virtually every movie that lingers on too long. That you and the reason why it's more obvious in these movies, right? And I think probably the worst example of this I've ever seen in any kind of media is Luke Skywalker, and being like, hey, we need a movie to happen. Oh, let's just make Luke, he thinks that his apprentice, who is his nephew, might be evil, and so he has a moment of weakness.
Where I try to murder a kid.
A moment of weakness where he thinks about killing his nephew.
No, he is actively about to kill his nephew.
Like he says, oh, wasn't going to do it. I just ignited my lightsaber in front of him while he was sleeping. All right. So, anyways, this is the thing. This is the thing that movie was like. Oh, and this is how the whole movie happens. This is how he created Kylo Ren, was with that. Now, that decision is the dumbest decision I have ever seen by any character ever. It would never make sense, and this is the most egregious example of what you're talking about in anything, because Luke Skywalker is the opposite of somebody who loses hope in somebody. I mean, like, his whole entire superpower is that he has hope in people. Like, the end of the Star Wars trilogy in Return of the Jedi is he goes to his dad, Darth Vader. Darth Vader. There's he might be bad. No, this dude is not just bad. We're talking like on the list of villains, he is number one on top 10 villain, the top 100 villain. He's like number one every time. He is just the most iconic villain ever. And he is defeated by his son saying, no, there's still good in you. I'm holding on to hope. That's his superpower. And he defeats the entire empire. He brings down the empire with his hope that his dad can be changed. And you're telling me that guy had an inkling once, he had a dream, he had a thought that maybe his nephew might be evil, so he thought he might kill him in his sleep. Nope. That would never happen.
Wrong.
So that is the clearest example of like we just needed a character to do something so the story could go on. And I'm like, no, he would never do that.
That's more of a character assassination where you've just taken a character and completely. And this has happened to a lot of characters where you're like, this character is not the same character. That's not quite what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about more is contained within a movie.
Yeah.
Where. And I think horror movies are a great example of this, where we talk about the horror movie people being dumb. Well, they need to be dumb so the murderer can pick them off one by one.
So
it's that sort of thing.
The other example I was going to use...
it's more of a micro level than a macro level.
Well, the other example I was going to use, which might be a little more in line with what you're talking about.
But, I mean, I do agree. Character assassinations...
Yes, is Joel from The Last of Us in the second game, and so the first game, Joel is extremely savvy. He's in this post-apocalyptic zombie world, and he brings this young girl alongside him, and he's having to deliver her across the United States. He ends up, at first being just like he despises her, and he's like, "You're so annoying, and I just need to get you there." But he ends up loving her like a daughter and really admiring her, and by the end, ends up making the ultimate sacrifice and like saving her life, over potentially finding a cure. And it's a really beautiful moment. In the second game, they're like, ooh, we need to be edgy and kill him off right away. And so let's have him save somebody, introduce himself and his brother by name.
Hi, I'm Joel, the one who killed all those doctors.
And then just go into their lair, like just standing there. I mean, maybe they were armed, maybe they weren't, but it didn't matter. They're surrounded by 15 people, just kind of like, hey, thanks for getting us in out of the cold. And they're like, yeah, we're going to kill you now. We've been here searching for you. Granted, that story in that game had infinitely more problems, but that was one of the biggest, was the fact that everybody watching is like, why is Joel doing this? He's so savvy. He wouldn't have normally gone and done. He's like, I'm Joel and this is Tommy. And she's like, that's only reason she's there is to look for Joel and kill him. And he's like, yep, that's me. I'm like, dog, literally in the first
I'm
game.
looking to kill a guy named Joel. Oh, I'm Joel.
In the first game, he's like so cutthroat, and he's like, no, don't talk to those people. They're just here to hurt us. And he's like, no. Like Ellie's like, oh, well, we can help those people on the side of the road. He's like, they're not even hurt. They're just there to try to, like, he's so gritty and so cool. And this one, he's just like, hey, how's it going? Joel here. I'm dead. And we're like, that's stupid. So, I mean, there are tons of examples of this, of characters not acting like they should. And that is... lots of times when people say you did a bad job writing characters, that's why.
Yeah.
Like when a character isn't written well, it's because they don't act consistently. It's because as you're getting to know them, and again, it's more obvious in longer running series because you've already got an established character, and then you get to kind of base off of what he does in the next movie.
Yeah.
But you can already see it in a single movie, like you said. He's established as his best friend. You kind of assume how a best friend's going to act, and he doesn't act that way so that the movie can keep going.
And the thing is, like, you can absolutely, and the reason it's so annoying is A, it shows bad writing. Like, oh, you couldn't figure out a better way to get them from A to B.
Right.
You had to, again, the characters had to pull up the script and be like, well, we're supposed to be over there, so, hey, bad guys, we're over here, capture us. We need to be over there for the finale. I find it's one of the things that pulls me out of the movie the most when I'm engaging in a movie, and then a character does something that's so
kills the
inconsistent.
immersion
It's so
instantly.
dissonant with what the movie has told me about them. And I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. What are we doing here? And it just pulls me out of the movie. I think you can do it well if you have character betrayals and things like that. You can set them up. I think it works better for TV series because movies you don't have that much time to work with, but you can set up moments where you're like, wait, why did that character do that? And then you can pay it off later. I'm like, man, that character was acting weird, and you're supposed to think that. I think I'm struggling to think of an example of that, but I know there have been shows, usually like spy thriller shows, where like I think 24 had some characters that heel turned and things like that. But then it's just so frustrating, and I use this example all the time. National Treasure 2, when the villain who's been chasing and willing to kill and like chasing these guys down at the very end when Mount Rushmore is flooding, not sure how, it's at the top of a hill and the nearest lake is way far away.
Sentence you never thought you'd say.
Those ancient 1700s super powerful water pumps that they're just like just filling up with water, and they're all gonna die, and the bad guy's just like, yeah, I'll hold the door, I'm good. What?
He's like, you guys get out of here.
You guys get out of here. I'll
just
die.
make sure you mention my name.
It's about time I returned myself to the store anyways.
Yeah. No, I think that it's tough to do as somebody who's writing, and that's why you recognize good writing as being like, oh, that didn't happen. I didn't see that come up. Like I didn't see you just writing people into where they need to be. I saw characters acting how I thought that they should act, and story just naturally evolved from that.
Yeah.
It was really
And again, it doesn't mean that characters are always doing the things you want them to do, because people are messy, and so if they're well written, they're gonna mess up. They're gonna make the wrong decision. But at least you understanding why they're doing what they're doing, and you're saying, I wouldn't have made that decision, but I understand why that character made that decision. They made the wrong decision, but I understand why they did that. And we see this a lot in like the extreme, like this happens a lot with when the bad guy's like, oh, did you know that your father actually killed this person? And they're just like, what? Oh my God. Oh God. Oh man. Oh geez. Oh man. Oh God.
Man.
And you're like, okay, yeah, it could be an absolute shell shock, but sometimes these revelations are like, you'd be like, okay, that's definitely something we're gonna have to talk about. But right now we have to deal with this bad guy. But they're like, nope, I'm on the bad guy side like that. But is there not a middle ground there? Like, wow, you're right. This person isn't the paragon I thought they were, so I'm gonna join Satan. Like, yeah, you know, there's like a halfway point. Like,
well, yeah, I think villains are typically the ones that suffer a lot from what you're talking about, where you just need the villain to be bad just to be bad, and you're like, okay, well, nobody acts this way, and this is why I'm kind of quick to praise a movie when it has a villain, and we talked about this the other day. We talk about this movie a lot. It's Planet of the Apes 3. Oh, yeah. Such a weird, underrated movie that nobody has ever really talked about in any links except for us.
It's really good.
But because the main bad guy of this movie, he makes good points, and you're like, okay, he's supposed to be the bad guy. Clearly, he wants to resolve his plan in a way that's not right. But his points, the reason why he's upset and why he's concerned, all make sense. And the people around him are all like, yeah, that makes sense. We need to consider that. We don't need to do the ways that you're talking about, but we do need to consider that. And then he wants to take things into his own hand, and he kind of moves forward with these, these extreme ideas. Yeah. That's
or I think about, we talked about The Incredibles. I think Syndrome.
Yeah.
Syndrome is a great villain. You understand exactly why. Like, he has moved past, because of what's happened, he's made the choice to be okay with killing superheroes.
Right.
And he said, this is a sacrifice I'm willing to make so that I can get my revenge on Mr. Incredible, so that I can, prove to everyone that I'm not just some nerdy.
And he wants to prove that you don't need to be super to be a superhero.
Exactly.
Like, everybody can have my stuff, and when everybody's super, no one will be.
Oh, what a great movie!
And then to touch on a movie that I actually watched this week is Toy Story 3. Although I liked the movie in whole, and man, the ending it's better than I even remember. It's so perfect.
It's a really
amazing ending, and it definitely deserves to be made. Like, this movie deserves to be made. If it wasn't, I'd be upset just because the ending alone. However, the story, the main antagonist, the bad person, is effectively a toy who was abandoned, and so as a result of being abandoned, it's hard to tell. He's just terrible. Like, he's just awful. Like, he's just awful to everybody. Like, it stands to reason that you have a toy who's abandoned, and so, like, Jesse has abandonment issues, or like Stinky Pete had, like, he made sense, right? He was bought to be a mint condition character, so he's never even opened. So he's salty towards toys that get played with, and he's even built up resentment in his heart and being like, toys just get played with, just get destroyed. This is the real life, sitting in here, and I want everybody else to have to experience it this way. And so he's salty because that all those motivations make sense. Whereas the third one,
man, if you think about the mechanics of Toy Story, it is really kind of existentially terrifying, huh?
I don't want to think about it too much. Like the fourth movie, it's like, what makes a toy living?
A toy. At what point do you stop being a toy? Like, what point does a toy die? Because, like, Sid was combining parts and all that, and they're like,
Anyways, but in the third movie, you have Lotso, who is this bear who was abandoned. Not even abandoned. It's his owner, along with two other toys, were left at a park, and then the three of them make their way back home to find the owner, and she had bought another Lotso bear. And so the other two toys were like, oh, well,
Spider-Man meme.
They only replaced you, so we can go back. He's like, no. She replaced all of us. And so he takes the two of those toys, and then they kind of storm off.
Because a kid would never want two of the same toy.
So the bear, as a character base, you can be like, okay, this makes sense as to why this character is angry, I guess, at something. But you would then draw from that, he's got abandonment issues, he has replacement issues, and you've built some kind of story around that. But he's just mean just for the sake of being mean. He, like, runs the daycare, and he's kind of nasty to the new toys. And he's like, all right, well, if you don't want to be here in the daycare, we can just, like, burn you and throw you into the dumpster. And they're like, all right, I guess we'll just leave. And they're like, no, you're not. And he throws him in the dumpster. He gets put in the dumpster. They save him. They're like, hey, we're going to save your life. And then he's like, now he has a chance to save them. And he's like, you should have left when you had the chance, cowboy. And he just wants to let him burn. And I'm like, why are you like this? Like none of you, like, why are you just you're just pure evil. Like there's not even a thing in your heart to solve. It's not like we can, like Stinky Pete at the end of the movie. They give him to a really artsy girl because you know that she's going to, presumably play with this toy a lot, but probably design all over his face, and he's going to hate that, even though he's going to. At the end of 3, Lotso gets like tied to the front of a truck with like a bunch of other toys that had like bugs stuck all over them. They're like, "You better close your mouth, man." And so it's like he's effectively just being tortured for the rest of his life. I'm like, what
Again,
was his
a lot
purpose?
of existentially frightening things in that movie.
3 was I think there were moments that were very cool. There were elements of it that were cool. The idea of a daycare, being in a world where you're talking to toys and they have a whole life beyond what we play with them. The idea of being at a daycare where there are tons of toys. It was interesting to see how they organize things. Fun. It's effectively like a prison break and how they have to get out of there. That's kind of cool.
Very
And
Con Air.
The ending is just it's so good. It's phenomenal.
Put
it's,
the
it's-
me back in the box.
It's perfect. It's a perfect ending. But
it really
overall, the
is.
story just rehashed old problems with the toys. They're like, what if he doesn't want to play with us anymore? And I'm like, Doug, you already talked about this in the second movie. What are you doing here? But anyways, yeah, to your point, characters that aren't even acting like how they should act. They're acting a certain way to push the plot along.
Yeah, and it feels like, and again, there is a filtering effect with old movies. Not for us, because we just watch everything. But there's a filtering effect. It's the same with classic music. Like there was a lot of garbage music in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And the good stuff is what's fondly remembered.
Right.
With the exception of the B-52s. That's just like weird. It was like weird enough that people are just like,
I did a ooh my mouth.
But there's a filtering effect on there's a lot of really, we watched some of them, really bad old movies.
Yes.
And the ones that are finally remembered are the good ones. So there is a level at which it's difficult to go back and say, it was just done better in the past.
Right.
But I do think there is a level at which it seems much more common to see these very lazy writing errors in more modern movies than the much more tightly written older movies.
I think also a lot of it has to do with the fatigue of sequels.
Yeah,
that is a massive issue with today's movies, is that there is theoretically not much going out there that is an original thought. And I understand why, right? You have to have money in order to make a movie. You have to cling on to an IP. I understand why. I don't like it, but I understand why.
See, and I wonder, statistically, is that even the case now? Because the sequel movies, they cost so much. Are they actually breaking even? Whereas A24, I think, has kind of nailed it, where they're like, hey, we're going to make, we're going to spend $100 million and make 20 movies. And if one of them makes $200 million, we've turned a profit.
Well, and this is pretty telling of what the movie we're talking about right now. I mean, we've kind of established, we're like, it was fine, it was a good movie, and people are losing their mind about it. And that should show you that there is such a thirst for anything original and new. Like, please give us something.
And I think part of it is, and we think about the two most recent billion-dollar movies that I can think of were both original movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Well, and
now they did bounce off each other, but and I'm sure there were other billion-dollar movies in that time frame.
So,
but the margins, we're talking about now, if you assume that the theaters are taking about half the money, then whatever your budget you spent for plus marketing, you have to double that to break even. And we're talking I need almost $1 billion to break even. You just physically, there's not enough money for every movie to make $1 billion.
Do you consider Barbie to be
an original movie?
An original? Because
yes.
Because
as
but
far
you're
as I
still
know, it was
clinging
the only,
on to an IP of sorts.
This is true. You are building off an IP, but it was still an original live action Barbie movie. It wasn't sequelizing anything.
Sure.
The concept is very familiar.
I don't know.
I would say if they made a really good Ultimate Frisbee the movie, I know they're playing off of something
That's
in real
fair.
life.
I guess there wasn't a TV show or anything.
Yeah.
So
it's not in that sense. It's not a sequel.
There wasn't a TV show of Barbie?
No, there are tons of animated movies.
I will say this though,
but they have nothing to do with the Barbie.
I see what you're saying.
To try to tie this back though to what you originally said, which was that you tend to see what you brought up in your segment here a lot more frequently it's happening, whereas in the old movies it didn't happen as much, where you had characters that were just not acting as they should. I think if I had to point it out, I think it'd probably be two big reasons. One, what Marco said, in that so many things are sequels now that it's it's harder to work with established characters because you want to do different things with them, and you're always going to catch what you said to where you're like, that character wouldn't have done that, and you're just having that character do that thing to push the storyline. And with only working with sequels, you're working with established characters, so I think you run into that problem a lot more. I think the second one, this is the bigger one. I think that movies nowadays are so interested with pushing some kind of message that that's the prime motive. And it's like, well, we need characters to push this message. It doesn't matter what they're doing. The bigger message, the meaning of the movie is the important thing. And although some movies back in the day had some ideological...
Natural Born Killers springs to mind.
Some ideological message to try to say, for the most part, they were just telling stories. Whereas now it's like everything is just like, I mean, Mickey 17, you had One Battle After Another, 3 Billboards. It's just like all
Citizen
of
Vigilantes.
all of them are just like, hey, there is a movie here, but mainly we're talking about this thing. And like, I hate that. And I think when you do it that way, you don't care about what the characters are doing. You just need them to push your message.
It's like a disguise. Having those types of movies that are technically original thoughts and things like that, it's like a disguise to talk about the same things they've been talking about for the last 15, 20 years. It's just obnoxious. It really is.
Well, and talk about Obsession as being a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
That, I need to give it its bones. There was none of that.
Nope,
So
none of that.
all was
That's great.
awesome.
That's great.
And it was funny because Spider-Man Noir doesn't actually push any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it is not like giving you some sort of weird message. But you can still like see there's some threads that are like, okay, well, this happened because of just how Hollywood is.
Yeah.
And it's not offensive, but you do notice it if you're looking for it. You do notice like, okay, there are a lot of like, and there's secondary characters. There are a lot of couples where the man is an absolute moron, and the woman's like putting him in his place in the 30s, excuse me, and like, yeah, she'd probably get a backhand for that. Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think also just movies nowadays are crap. They're bad.
And I think it's because you're having these younger writers who have no life experience, have experienced nothing outside of their little bubble. They're like solipsistic. They can't abstract. They've lost the ability to abstract other people's points of view. It's like, how does a male person write a female character? Well, you have to abstract that because they're not female, right? And vice versa, right? And so, J.K. Rowling, I thought, did a really good job writing a young boy. And you hear some of the grinding in the gears when it gets to the teenage years because men and women's teenage years tend to be very different.
Yeah.
And so when you get to like year 14, 15, 16, especially year 5, I think you see like, well, boys don't tend to be that angsty in that way. Not that there's no angst, but it tends to come out in different ways. But for the most part, I thought she did a really good job. But that's because she had to abstract, what would it be like for a little boy to be growing up like this?
Right.
And then, vice versa. If a guy's writing it, you have to abstract, and you might not nail it all the time, but you can at least like put myself in that point of view of like, well, I don't live in a magical wizarding place, but I can imagine what it would be like. Writers can't do that. They can't do that, and they're taught not to do that. They're taught like, oh, only someone who has these exact features can have an authentic voice in this sense. So like, if you're this skin color, you can't write this other skin color. If you're from this country, you can't write this other country. Right. If you're this gender, then you can't write any of the other 10 and 27 genders, right? If you're straight, you can't write a gay person. But it only that door only swings one way. But it is like they're taught to restrict themselves in their viewpoint and to not abstract because that'd be offensive and not authentic. And it's like, well, then your stories are going to be bland in one note because if you can only speak from your own lived experience, well, unless you've lived a really exciting life, your stories are going to be boring.
Yeah.
It's funny. When I joined this podcast,
a thousand years ago,
I was a proponent of movies big time. And the more that I watch modern movies, the more that I dislike modern movies. It is just obnoxious to watch anything post 2017, 2018, somewhere in that range.
I'd say it's sometime in the 2010s
it is
for me.
So
is where it's sour.
difficult to find a movie that comes out that does not have the shenanigans that comes along with Hollywood. It is impossible. And I was really hoping when Odyssey was announced that was going to be the one, but then it just instantly just became a shit show with all the wokeness that came of it. And it was just, it's just bad. And it's starting to make me lose hope for the future of movies. Now, with that said, this is partially the reason why I enjoy this, because I want to push the movie industry. Granted, we have exactly nobody watching very often, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like if it's not talked about by anyone, it's just going to continue to be bad. If there is critic out there, if there are criticisms out there for why movies are so bad nowadays, then maybe it'll change. Just maybe.
We're
Yeah.
doing.
And I
I'm
think
doing
we're
my
doing
part.
our part.
I'm
The
doing
thing
my
is,
part.
I think it is like
I didn't do.
it is like slowly starting to shift.
Yeah, it is.
And I think
I think it is.
What will ultimately do it is when indie movies break out of horror and start making buku bucks in other genres.
Yeah.
And I think comedy will probably be the first because I think it's the lowest barrier to entry. All you have to do is write well. You don't
Yeah.
really need a big budget to do a good comedy.
yeah.
So I think comedy is probably the next barrier. I think action is a little tougher. But you can do like short action, suspense, thriller, sci-fi. You probably need a slightly bigger budget. But again, depending on like there are great sci-fi movies that have shoestring budgets, so they can be done. But I think once you get these indie kids making movies that are actually pulling in big bucks, Hollywood would say the Hollywood executives will finally be like, we're done throwing away money.
So I don't disagree with you with that logic. My only concern is because comedy is the first to be attacked, it is going to be the most difficult to break through that.
Yeah, it could be.
Budgetarily speaking, yes, I agree. It's right after horror. It's pretty much the one, right? It's that and horror are like the two cheapest
Yeah.
ways to make movies.
The thing
but
is,
if it's even so much as close to the line, it's going
Right.
to be critiqued so heavily and so pushed under the rug. It's just going to be ridiculous.
that's fair. I think if you try to do something like a Tropic Thunder,
Yeah.
you could definitely run into those issues. I think if you try to do something more along the lines of like an Airplane,
Yeah.
where it's just like
Yes.
it's just a goofy movie and it's not like these jokes aren't offensive.
Right.
Like if you're taking offense to these jokes, you're a ridiculous person.
Well, there were a couple of.
Okay, Airplane may not be the best
I
example.
was
You know what
gonna
I'm saying?
say,
Like,
I like my coffee like I like my men. Oh,
I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue. So Airplane may not have been the best example of that, but you know what I mean, like a
Right.
truly like a goofy comedy that's not
Yes.
really being edgy in any way. That's not like a black comedy or an edgy comedy, or something that's more like actually black comedy might be the way to go.
honestly,
'cause it's
yeah.
so adjacent to horror.
Like, Medea is one of my favorite like
Medea is
series of.
hysterical.
It's so good.
That's Tyler Perry,
Medea,
right?
Yeah,
Tyler Perry.
Medea. What was the Christmas one? Oh my god, I watched it during Christmas and I was cackling at it. So funny.
There are some hysterical Medeas. There's so many of them now.
Just so many good. There's so many good scenes in Medea.
The thing is, though, like you're right. I think that comedy is the natural next step, but also you can make a low budget movie of anything. I mean, look,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
watched Godzilla -1.
Technically, the original Star Wars was a low budget movie.
That's what I mean.
Right.
But like that was something like
gotta have
that
creativity.
needs to happen. Something like that needs to happen. Where somebody, I mean, great. You could make Reservoir Dogs, which is a phenomenal movie. It's all A-list actors, and it just takes place like effectively like in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
really cool. So it's like you can have a really good idea for somebody that has a very low budget himself when he thinks about making films. Those are the ideas that I have. They're
Yeah.
very low budget and like, hey, what can I make? And none of them are horror.
Well, we were
or
talking.
comedy.
One of our favorite movies is 12 Angry Men, which takes place in
There you
a
go.
room, and
Yeah.
it's just 12 guys
It's a
talking.
drama.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I think
So I can't imagine the budget for that was very big.
I think you know what? I think drama would be the move. Would be the move.
Yeah. I
would love if
there's
some independent
if there's
dramas
some
started
independent
being-
drama movies that are out there that are unique, that are individual thoughts, not clinging on to some IP, like not trying to do Good Will Hunting 2 or some stupid shit like that and ruin the original.
Will
like
or
it's
Hunting.
Good Will or Hunting. Good
Good or
Will
Hunting Will.
Hunting-er.
More hunting will.
Like if as
Good
long
Will
as they don't
Huntooning.
as long as they don't do that and
Two Will
they
Hunting.
do their
Good
own
Will's Hunting. There it is.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ,
God.
bro! I'm trying to talk, sir.
Shut up. Shut up.
Fuck.
Just mute his mic, please.
God, he just kept going. I was trying to just
I couldn't
work
find
through
it.
it. No, shut up.
Yes. Everybody already says Nathaniel talks too much on the show. We need to let Marco talk.
Okay. Thank you for holding the back because I saw that. Point I'm trying to say is if they cling on to an IP of a drama, it's going to just going to fumble. Even if it is a lower budget, even if it's a somewhat decent movie, it's still a sequel, and that's going to bring it down. There has to be a couple of things. It has to be well written, as you guys said. It has to be an original thought, and to be honest, probably a lower budget wouldn't be a bad idea, so that it would spark some creativity from the other people that are out there that do not have the budget, so that it continues to create and create and create. And the more we do it, the more it's gonna push away all of the shenanigans that Hollywood pushes into the movies.
That's the answer.
And Hollywood does not have infinite money. It seems like they do, but they don't have infinite money. And a lot of companies are starting to move away from Hollywood. So it'll be interesting as productions start to shift away from LA. Do we see all those actors and all the people like move, and then LA becomes like a regular city, and then some new like Austin becomes the new LA, and then Texas turns purple, and that would be wild. But who knows what's going to happen in that case? But better Will Hunting.
There you go.
God, yeah, I'm muting you. That's it. That's done. See you later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Life finds a way.
In 2 weeks from today, I believe it's the 26th. We will
having a Sunday.
That's the 28th.
That's a Tuesday.
20. Oh, it's the 27th. That's what
Which
I said.
I'm not available for.
I said the 27th, right?
Which I will not.
Earlier in the day, not at night.
Earlier in the day, then yes.
I was about to get to that point, but you had to talk. Remember, wait. Okay.
No.
So the 27th, not at night at a normal time. We'll be having an earlier show. We don't know exactly when that means, but
it's going to be pretty early.
Keep an eye out for the 27th. We will be talking about Speed Racer. We will have special guest Jay Natale and his wife, Catherine Natale. It's going to be a really fun show, and we hope to see you guys there. And until next time,
better Will Hunting.
Better Will Hunting. Let's as many times as we can before the show ends. Perfect Will Hunting.
Best Will Hunting.
Not good Will Hunting.
Bad Will Hunting?
Bad Will Hunting. We don't have a word for that.